Welcome back, everyone, to the AEL University League for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. We are in the playoff stage, and tonight we've got quite an exciting matchup coming through. But of course, first, we've got to introduce ourselves. I'm Twosbees, also known as Luther. I said that the wrong way round. Off to a great start already. I'm also joined here by the absolutely handsome man to the right of me, Two-Tap Tony. How you going, Tony?
I'm doing keen. We're playoff bound, and it is going to be a crazy amount of action for us.
Absolutely right. There should be plenty of interesting Counter-Strike to get to tonight. We're gonna have into playoffs, into the best of threes. Should be quite a good one. I'm very keen to see how it all turns out tonight. We've got ourselves our upper bracket round 2 matchup of the Deakins versus the UNSW Raw. Tony, what are your thoughts around this matchup? What do you think we're going to see coming through?
Not on the best of twos anymore. And, you know, UNSW Raw, they've, of course, got a few familiar faces. Cirquest, I've seen around for quite a while. You know, this is, I believe, his third or so season here with UNSW. And Cirquest, he's a very smart, very talented individual player. And, of course, the rest of his roster, I imagine, is much the same.
Yeah, exactly. We've been seeing players like Cirquest pop up quite a fair bit in terms of just if you're looking at a lot of the overall OC scene, where we see a lot of these players coming in with their main lineups. But it should be very interesting to see how things go, of course. But before we get into some of that, we have some lovely, lovely sponsors that we need to give a bit of love to for supporting us, of course. Tony, you got some words on that one?
Oh, of course I do, of course. Thanks as well to our lovely presenting partner, Chatime. Fresh iced tea, of course, try their new range to your local store. Chatime, the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia. Over 120 Chatime tea breweries with commitment to quality ingredients and, of course, innovative flavor. You can check it all out, of course, at your local supermarket, as I said. AOC, the global leader in monitor display technology for more than 50 years. Of course, they have been delivering exceptional viewing experience worldwide. And as well, Indomie, keep yourself fed with their delicious meager range. Check it out, your local supermarket. And as well, RIG, what it takes to win. We'll see whether these teams have what it takes to win this evening. RIG develop headsets with superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. And of course, join the RIG team today and enhance your gaming experience.
Yeah, again, thank you so much, Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and RIG, for helping make the AEL streams possible, for helping deliver some of that action to all of you who are very keen to see some of your favorite players, some of your mates perhaps, competing in this university league, because there's some very exciting stuff coming forward, as we did briefly touch on before going to the sponsor segment. We've got quite the exciting match up in the Deakins versus UNSW Raw. I'm very keen to see, especially depending on who comes out for the Deakins, I'd be very keen to see how Pacific Donga goes if he's playing tonight. Not exactly sure who's going to be in the server, but having seen how 8-ballers have been going in terms of placements in the LPL leagues, in terms of qualifying for ANZ champs outside, a player that has certainly come up a fair bit in the last 6 months in the fact that their team have made significant progress moving forward. But then also, you know, I look over on the UNSW side, I see players like Cirquest and Viridian. There's definitely a lot of firepower going into this on both sides. Yeah,
there's definitely a big question mark, of course, who is going to take this first map. I believe our Vitas are in Dust 2, Inferno, and Nuke going to be in the pool. So it's a very interesting one. As you said, 8-ballers, of course. Whether we see Pacific Donga on this Deacon side this evening is going to be really a big question mark going into the series, because, of course, 8-ballers, he's been their team's been doing absolute massive in terms of the AOS region, or the Australian competitive region. At the moment, in just the past 6 months, I believe they ran the run from amateur all the way to pro, and they've been doing bits. And of course, Pacific Dong has been very, very key in leading them into that kind of pathway.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, again, not exactly sure whether or not he will be in the server tonight, because there are currently 7 players listed on the roster, of which I think he might be there subbing. He definitely did play a few games. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is there, so we're not going to have definitive 5-5 rosters locked in until we see everyone join the server, but that should be happening pretty soon. We've got some players in already, just waiting on everyone to get all warmed up and ready to go. So hopefully it should be pretty soon that we get this game underway, Tony.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. Of course, we've seen a ton of Dust 2. We've seen Inferno, we've seen Mirage, we've seen even Overpass, I believe, in the Uni League, especially for us two as a duo. But Nuke is something we don't get to see all too much. So if we go to a third map, Nuke could be a potential upset or a potential highlight for either of these teams.
Yeah, Nuke, certainly not one that we have been seeing a lot of lately as far as the University League has gone. At least in my experience, at least how I've seen things come through. But, you know, we've been seeing a lot more of these puggy style maps. We've been seeing a lot of Mirage, especially, a lot of Dust 2, a lot of Inferno, and we are going to be seeing some Inferno tonight as well. But overall, should be quite interesting to see how this all comes out. Again, Nuke definitely could be quite the banger of a decider if it does go to a map number 3.
Yeah, Nuke's one of those maps that I guess really tests a team's coordination in terms of some of the hits. Of course, you go for very, very different strats. Of course, Nuke, it's been around in the pool for ages. It's, of course, got a very recent facelift and a very welcome one, of course, for some of these kind of T-sided teams, because Nuke, heavily back in the day, was a CT-oriented map.
Yeah, again, like, yeah, back in the day for sure, but especially since we've had this new version in the last few years and how things have just gone around that, certainly has changed things up a fair bit. I feel like the map is a little bit more even now. I feel like a lot of teams are still more comfortable on that CT side, but I think overall, especially what we see in this University League, where we see a lot of strong T-sided plays and we see a lot of these sort of, you know, improvised strats, a lot of things coming out that we see, you know, in pickup games a fair bit. Just that sort of puggy mentality, going for those sight rushes, you know, just swinging corners, playing very aggressively, certainly can make for quite the interesting show, which is why I think Nuke will be very interesting, because it's one of those maps that is not regarded as being very highly puggy or very, you know, in that sort of style. It's very much more so a team play oriented map.
Yeah, it's definitely no Inferno or Mirage like we've been seeing. Of course, Dust 2, our first map, and Deakin, they get to start the T side. Of course, UNSW going to be on that CT side. And, you know, I feel for UNSW, this is not a bad way to start the series out. The CT side on Dust 2, always very good at really establishing how you want to play those early first few rounds and a half, of course. And it's going to test the T side of Deakin to start this series off, whether they come in hot, swinging, or whether they come in a little bit cold into this first map of the series.
Yep. We've got 9 in the server at the moment, although have just seen, as I say, that server crash. So great stuff. Love to see it. Great start, of course, but should be into it pretty soon. Just waiting to hear what's happening from the admin side of things. But yeah, shouldn't be too much longer, folks. Hopefully we'll get the server back up and get stuck into our map number 1 shortly. That's of course what we'd like to see, I suppose. Yep, just waiting to see what's happening with that server. So yeah, any more thoughts, Tony, while I just find out
a little bit.
that?
We can talk a little bit more about the maps, I guess. Of course, we've seen some very heavy, I guess, CT sides from a few of these teams on Inferno. It's been interesting to see the Uni League pretty good at some of those CT holes. You see, of course, a player normally positioned around the pit area. You see another, of course, over towards the archway, and you know, it's very easy to hold that A site sometimes, but we've also seen some pretty strong and pretty blown out T sides as well from a few of these teams. My thoughts, of course, go to, I believe it's a Uni Melb on Inferno. They're very, very scary on that map, and I'd hate to go against any of these teams, even on a map like Inferno.
Oh yeah, agreed. Especially like just some of the stuff we've been able to see where a lot of sharp players have come forward and a lot of really interesting things on that map. Definitely would be scared to be in this server going into this next game, because again, as we were touching on, looks like there's going to be a fair bit of talent and a lot of interesting stuff to see on both sides of things in this affair. So should be quite interesting to see how this goes. Just waiting to see what's happening. I think the players are getting ready, but We are just running into some quick technical difficulties, so hopefully we'll get sorted with that one shortly. Just waiting to find out what is happening with that. So I think what I'll do is we'll just cut to a quick break while we get this sorted, and we'll update you when we're back on, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone. We should be getting ready to go with this playoffs match for AEL University League. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, of course. That's the game we're playing. That's the match that we're looking at. Currently going to be Deakins versus UNSW Raw for tonight's matchup, best of 3. Should be rather interesting to see how things go. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and as we, of course, can see Pacific Dollar in the server here for Deakins this evening. You know, that's adding a very much needed, no longer question mark, but a bit of an exclamation mark, because we've seen Pacific Donga, we've seen him, of course, in the top of the region, and adding him to the lineup here tonight for Deakins is a very much needed opponent for them. But of course, they're staring down UNSW Raw. As you said, Cirquest, a very, very potent individual himself. And Viridian as well, one of those players that, you know, he's been playing at the top level for quite a while, of course, on this Court of Guard roster from memory. Viridian, he's been doing very, very well in terms of recent results. I say, of course, recently, I believe playing in the IEM fall qualifier against the X-Chiefs and did pretty well, 16-11, not too bad. And, you know, Cogs as a team, they're a bit of a hit and miss, but Viridian definitely one of those hit players to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Viridian, just one of those players that can really put off pull off quite star-studded results in so many different situations. Really quite the ace to cut up your sleeve there. But likewise, on the Deakins side of things, also coming in from, you know, some of those higher echelons of teams that we've seen a bit more familiar with if you've been watching other leagues like ANZ Champs or like LPL Pro. Pacific Donga coming in from 8ballers for the Deakins side of things. Should be rather interesting to see how he's going to be able to pull through in this matchup. I'm very keen to see how this should go, see if that kind of energy can be matched on both sides, because again, a lot of really sharp players in the server tonight, a lot of really interesting things that could potentially come of this best of 3. And I could very well see this going to all 3 maps as a result.
Yeah, definitely could look to go that way, I believe. Pacific Donga coming off an unfortunate 0-2 loss just earlier to, I believe was looking for Org. That's, yeah, ex-Direwolves, of course. But yeah, so maybe Pacific Donga might be coming into this server with a bit of blood, a bit of vengeance. He wants to, you know, kick back after a long night of playing CS and look back fondly here in the University League. But I believe we're going into map number 1. As we said, it's going to be the Deakins on the D side. UNSW Raw to start off the CT side.
Yep, and per the veto, we're just going to see the killing console for the knife round. That's not going to be played out, as, of course, we have the sides decided by the veto process. So we will be seeing, I believe it was, actually can't remember now. It's slipping my mind. Don't have it in front of me, but I guess we'll see how the sides will go in just a second as soon as it's been switched over. But we should be getting ready to go into this game rather shortly. Again, map 103, Dust 2. Second map will be Inferno, regardless of outcome. And map number 3, of course, going to be Nuke. And that should be quite the interesting series overall, I feel like, with those 3 maps.
Especially adding, I guess, for the Deakins side, adding some much-needed experience to Pacific Donga. He's, of course, as we said, played at the top level. So I'd imagine, you know, he's drilled a bit of the strats that he, of course, runs in his 8balls roster to this Deakins side. And, you know, whether they're looking to play it loose or they're looking to play it a little bit more commanding, of course, we'll go into it now. Pistol to start it off, and as we said, UNSW Raw CT side. And a bit of long aggression early with a pop flash here for Surfwest.
Also a bit of a fight in top mid, but Donga going to be very quick on that pop flash, just watching and not going to be blinded by it. We'll be able to take out one, but Gibbs will trade, so still back into a 4-on-4. That's going to lead the rotate from Deakins to just try and take that control of that uppers and of mid, placing player there. Meanwhile, Dirty just going to be able to push up into the site, take down Viridian. Even going as far as to swing a bit more into CT, trying to get some more shots off. But either way, that bomb will be going down. Site take very much so successful in being able to just overwhelm that one player.
Ooh.
Dirty also finding a very dirty shot there.
That was a very nice tap with a P250 though for Evan, able to trade it back. And now they're looking to push back into this site. 2 players, of course, one with a kit, but Gibbs will be falling towards the window. You can see Deakins in a very, very nice hold right now. Noya just going to be peeking the window. Takes out for Evan, and that's going to be the first round of the Deakins. A bomb plant end around secured. An early start here for the Deakins on their D side.
I'm very keen to see how this will go out. Of course, we are going to be seeing that pistol round go the way of the Deakins, but only 1 round into what could potentially be 3 maps here. Twitch chat and chat on all platforms. I want to know what exactly it is you're thinking. Give us your best predictions while it's still rather hot here. Who do you think is going to win this matchup? Who do you want to see win this matchup? Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing the Deakins try their best to win this round at least by taking that aggressive long control, making their way up towards the A site where the bomb plant is inevitable. UNSW Raw still not losing any players, albeit losing a fair bit of health. Now finally a kill comes through as Donga pushes through on that short position.
Yeah, it was a good wrap around, and I guess UNSW Raw not quite expecting that Pacific Deakins just going for the whole W strat here. Cross going to be taking 2 there towards that cross middle position here. Nora Boyd going to be finding a second for Evan. Going to be peeking into the corner. Nora picks it up, and another round on the board for the Deakins. Very clean and cut so far, I have to say. Not really losing all too much in terms of the process, in terms of the economy either. Deakins just looking to start this one off with a bang.
Yeah, very much looking to just kick things off nice and sharp. Dirty going to be just watching this mid cross as his teammates look to try and make their way up it. Now, finally, the spot will come through where 5 players will be on the other side. 2 will go down, but WF will find 1 kill. Gibbs, another. His teammate will find a kill, just not onto the right target there. Oh, yep. Going to finish things out. Clean 3-0 start for the Deakins. Not too much damage coming forward overall from the Raw, but now they're going to have their chance to buy back up and get themselves back into this.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate start for UNSW Raw, but, you know, sometimes you're just going to have to get off to some of those unfortunate starts, and it's about how you pick yourself back up after a rough one here. So we have to go for a peak towards long. Going to be backing off, just a HG, a good measure, and for the moment, Deakins playing a little bit more slower in this one. I say a little bit slower, but they're looking to push up through the mid side. HG goes out through forever. Going to be taking a bit of damage from that one. But Pacific Dollar getting very aggressive. Spots one in the corner. WF tagged up. Gibbs, though, in a different corner. UNSW Raw could be looking to hold down this short side, but Deakins, they're still coming with the full force of a bit more util.
Yeah, just try and hit as hard as possible here. Deakins still playing a bit slow after having just maintained their position over towards both sides, especially with that mid presence playing out very nicely for them. But still very much geared towards B, it seems. We're going to be just dropping that bomb over to Malkin. But still 48 seconds left, and Deakins just waiting for some kind of aggression to come forward, maybe just watching and waiting for something to come out, for some contact to be made. Instead, not going to come through. Pushing through, but WF will be able to lock it down. He gets the third. He's going to try and spray, but Dirty will shut him out of it.
Yeah, now Dirty's got the orb here. Cirquest, though, snuck through the smoke, snuck through the doors. Dirty not even going to get that bomb down. First round on the board for UNSW Raw. Very good start here now for them. They've got the double AWP setup still in play. And Deakins, of course, securing themselves so many plants means they've still got the money to buy in this one. But now their economy going to be tested a little bit here. UNSW Raw, if they can pick the pace up, they could look to even it up in these next few.
Certainly could try to do just that. UNSW Raw, if they're able to just lock them down, keep the Deakins out of these sites, well, easy way to get plants, or to get round wins, denying those plants. Cirquest going to try and do exactly that with his first shot, and, well, more shots to come out from that Famous there for finding 2 kills. Cross and Dirty still able to get across onto that side and get the bomb plant down. It's going to be a difficult post plant to play, however, outnumbered. Not much utility between them as opposed to the various flashes and smokes that UNSW still have going for them. Quick nade will go towards the back of the side from Gibbs, and a flash will go out on the cast. Second, bit higher as WF looks to peek out the cross, just playing the side. Dirty managing to find 1, but overall, trades just not being there for the Deakins, and they are able, well, they are shut out of the round, and the UNSW Raw are able to find themselves the retake.
Yeah, it was a very nice retake there from UNSW Raw, tossing the flashes over the top. And well, for the moment here, we get the pause from the side of the Deakins. They are, of course, needing a technical issue. I believe one of the players might be lagging or so. Doesn't look so ping-wise, but we might be wrong. UNSW Raw, as I said, though, good flashes to come over the top for that retake. And just good positioning overall, punishing Deakins in maybe their over-aggressive nature. Of course, Cross was holding that window, caught looking the wrong way, and UNSW, they were able to just walk into that site for free.
Yeah, in opposition, the Deakins being pretty well isolated, you know, having that one player playing car, and then also having that one player playing a site, but not watching the same sort of angles, just playing from the other side of that pillar, meant there wasn't really the potential set out for the trades, there wasn't really the possibility of that to come through, and as a result, well, we saw exactly what we saw. We just ran into the players just being able to, as a unit of 3, clear out both of those positions, get their way back onto the site, and you know, very clean, simple retake coming out from UNSW Raw, but also a huge effort done by those 2 players that weren't there for the retake in being able to just hold down that B site pretty successfully. and being able to, even if they weren't able to completely stop the plant, of course, just delaying it, giving information, and of course finding as many picks to make that retake far more viable. Again, we keep seeing plays like that, you know, from these CT sides. It's pretty textbook stuff, just what you need to get it done. We are going to see a quick player disconnect from the Deakins side as they are still just sorting out issues, I believe. Can't see the chat, but Tony might have some more information on that. Maybe, maybe not.
I think I saw Pacific Donga's ping up at 80, so he might be a little bit laggy at the moment, but hopefully he's looking to sort that, and we're looking to get back into this game, because the Deakins, they might be looking to get back into these next few rounds. Of course, their economy's not the greatest. You've got Cross at about 4.4, but you know, the rest of his teammates can't really afford to buy all too much. We are seeing the .Rs. The unpause is underway, and we'll be getting back into it now. Round number 6, and UNSW Raw could look to take the lead back in the first stage of this half. Of course, we saw a quick 3 come out from the Deakins to start this one off, but UNSW Raw, as you said, their retakes are pretty potent.
Yeah, well, now that they've got themselves the full buy, their utility usage also has just been so on point. The way they've been able to position themselves so far has been pretty good. Let's see how they're able to do against this pistol rush here. Quick mid to B seems to be the plan from the Deakins. WF to find one, but Pacific Donga to trade, throw a quick smoke out. The flashes will also come through from the other side of it. UNSW Raw just holding on, as we also see Forvin take out Donga. Noir, however, able to trade with that D, also bring it down to Cross, also in perfect positioning to find even more kills. Only one, but still, that's going to buy enough time to get that bomb plant down and give the Deakins some time to get that those post-plant positions.
Sure.
Noir will go for that swing as well.
Noir has been absolutely massive here in taking this. Of course, 8 ballers Pacific Dong going to start this round off, and the rest of his teammates to follow suit. This is not the round we're expecting out of the Deakins here, of course, on very little in terms of economic investment, but still able to do it. Looking to steal some guns away too. M4 going to be kept by Noir, and of course, Dirty going to be picking up that AK on the Cross. Deakins, they pick up a 4th, and this now puts a hole in the economy for UNSW Raw off of round 1 alone.
Dirty also finding Viridian's AWP there certainly does help things out a fair bit, being able to get that little boost to the economy, a little bit of a stimulus coming through for them there. But yeah, just being able to really show up the aggression and just show up in full force as far as that pistol round went, as far as those upgraded buys have gone. UNSW Raw now back over towards Deagles, with exception to SirQuest's save from last round, and they're just going to be playing pretty passive with it. No quick rush from them. Instead, just looking to try and hold angles and take some heads off.
See, side of the Deakins, though, they're playing it a little bit safer. They know what UNSW Raw might be capable of with these Deagles. Pacific Donga on the work over towards middle, and SirQuest is just caught looking in the wall. Unfortunate timing there. SirQuest not able to catch out Pacific Donga. Beautiful start here for the Deakins. They might be looking to set it up for a potential split play. A few players up through short, a few players through long here. UNSW Raw, of course, they've sent Forever down to this lower tunnel position, but he's not going to be able to spot anyone for the Deakins. They've got a site completely uncontested.
Yeah, very much uncontested. So that's going to be the pistol retake, which is not really ideal. Viridian might be able to catch someone. There he does. Cross going to get tracked through the smoke. Down. That bomb will make it to the other side, however, accompanied by Noir, able to retrieve it. Get it down on that site. Malkin on the other side of the smoke. Spot one player. Tries to transfer to the second, but is unable. Still 3-on-3 as the Raw make their way back up. Pacific Donga on the right angle to find some heads. However, going to be going for the third, but is denied by Viridian City. Getting up close and personal with the jump, but it just does not work out. Put a kid on him, Viridian. If he's able to find these last 2 players, certainly would be possible, but as that time ticks away, he realizes how unlikely it is. Noir will try and push through and will be able to find it as well. Save will be completely denied as the Deakins take round number 5.
Yeah, very close affair there at the end, but Pacific Donga able to find the double necessary. UNSW Raw now back to a bye, and you know, we might look to see that AWP put in play a bit more. Of course, we spoke very highly of Viridian. He's not having the start that you expect a player of his caliber right now, but Might be looking to make up for it. Short push to come out, but the Deakins, they're just going straight over towards this B site. Cirquest going to be holding from the double doors. There's another player in the back of the site. Forever trying to find it. He gets two over the top of the smoke with the AUG. But Cross, he's going to trade out for Rivet. Now Cirquest looking to drop into the site. He's tagged Pacific Dogger. He's taking him out in the smoke. And Pacific's like, what just happened? And Gibbs picks up Cross. A beautiful retake there before the bomb even goes down by the Deakins.
That's just such an aggressive way to play your CT side. Just literally just going for what was essentially a full rotate on the first whiff of any information there. Very much could have gone astray if the Deakins had baited that out, so certainly not something you want to do all the time, but in that case, knowing that we've seen so many full commits from the Deakins, well, they were able to just go in and completely overwhelm them. These side players expecting maybe one or two players. No, they get the whole squad. Ian gonna be holding meanwhile over on the short position. Will leg a player in Malkin. Down to 14 HP, but nothing more to come from that one as he just backs away and plays the corner.
You can see High Flash comes out. Nor over at this long side could be finding a quick on a WF if he lets him. Jiggling the corner for the moment. Cirquest forward baits in just a second though. Cross trying to cross through that door, but going to be taken out here. And again, we go back to WF. He's very cautious of this corner. He's got Gibbs to back him up, and Deakins might be looking to push towards the short side, but they're not quite aware of what's going on. Of course, Viridian posted with the AWP, trying to hold mid and the short side, but calls for his teammate. Smokes are dropped. Flash comes out, and this is Deakins trying to sneak their way through spawn. Maybe over to B.
Very well could be the play here. Just, you know, baiting, rotate out over through mid and then just taking the tunnels, or trying to catch off the rotate unexpectedly. However, not going to come through in that effect. Instead, Cirquest going to be watching that mid to B and will be able to take one. Makes his way back to the side as well. Where he's able to find a bit more. That would be if he didn't pull his pistol, or his grenade out, rather. Spoke a little bit too soon there, but the lineup certainly was a possibility. Dirty kind of bait the bomb plant to find some kills. Actually, somehow does mine those two, but runs out of time to get the plant. If only he had a bit more to play with. I appreciate the play, but unfortunately the timing just not there for it. Such a close round, however.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of those kills just aren't going to quite get you the round. Last play there, UNSW Raw able to save, of course, and stay alive, get the round on the board for UNSW Raw, and we're getting to a very even kind of scoreline here. The Deakins not really running away, of course. Pacific Donga still having that kind of crazy impact we expected of him, but, you know, UNSW Raw, very star-studded roster themselves, of course, Forever and Cirquest up there with 8 kills, and really starting to set in motion how this game is going to go. Of course, this is the Deakins map pick, and the Raw, they've got a lot to answer with early on.
Certainly have a bit to go on here. WF just playing towards that bedroom position, hoping to find maybe something pushing through, but instead none of these CT is going to be running into anything, at least not yet. Instead, Deakins just very passively holding back long and now slowly making their way up towards short, establishing their mid presence, just waiting over towards Tottenham for a peek to come forward. There it will be from Viridian City. Quick nade will be lobbed over as he just tries to make it away to safety. 36 HP as he does. Will be smoked out and flashed out as well. Meanwhile, Forvent on the other side will be able to get that one. Viridian also finding a quick shot through the smoke. Pacific Donga evidently getting timed out or something there, leaving Noir all by himself in a 1v5. Only a deagle in hand. Nothing he can do there.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate circumstance to be in for the Deakins here. Of course, Pacific Donga, as we said, had to play the kind of qualifier game, and unfortunately didn't go home the happiest after it. Maybe you can see, of course, a bit of technical issues still weighing at the side of the Deakins, but though for the side of the Raw, they've evened it up 5-5. Good start now to their campaign here on Dust 2, and you know, a good start to this half, evening it up at that 5-5. Any more, of course, after this is a blessing after that start we saw from the Deakins, and Well, it's going to be up to time to tell, but I have to say that hold there in that spawn side, even when it was smoked off, just a good read from the side of UNSW.
Yeah, certainly a very good read coming out from them. A lot of really good reads overall, especially in how they've just been able to commit to these super fast, lightning quick rotates, and having the Deakins just, you know, pretty well, they've just had so many of these plays be stopped as a result, because when you've got such a solid CT side and when you're able to play so cohesively as a unit like that, really is just quite difficult to navigate a path out around it. But still, the Deakins going to try tied up 5-5 here. Just going to have a quick look at the scoreboard as well, to just give you a quick look at that one, where we see Forvin at the top of the UNSW roster. 9-9 scoreline, KD-wise, Cirquest 8-6. Get the picture from there. Can't see Donga, unfortunately, because of the disconnection, but also see Deakins about to hit max loss bonus if we see another round. That would be a fourth in a row for the UNSW Raw.
Yeah, and I've just read the chat. It appears Pacific Donga might be getting a bit of a net spike or something right now. The hotel internet, not the greatest, it would seem. Pacific Donga might have done a bit of traveling recently and currently playing from the hotel. Probably not the greatest of Wi-Fi for a competitive game such as Counter-Strike, but hopefully we can see him get it remedied and get straight back into the server, because I feel like the Deakins, you know, they kind of look to Pacific Donga as this older brother kind of figure in the team. Of course, he's a very star-starter player individually, and, you know, he's been doing bits with his team, and especially, you know, a few of these Uni League players haven't quite gotten to experience that upper echelon of Counter-Strike that maybe Pacific Donga's approached and, you know, really mentored his team in that kind of department.
And it's a very unique thing that we see in this league in particular, where, for the most part, a lot of the teams playing are very much mixed teams that are looking to just, you know, try and show up and represent the university more than anything else, right? And as a result, you see a lot of players where they're coming in from playing that sort of top level of CS. You see a lot of players that are just playing AEL alongside, you know, competing with a team. I think that was just auto on pause there.
Yeah,
competing with a team in the top of OC leagues in that tier 1, and then also you see them kind of coming in with players who haven't had as much competitive experience, and it's definitely an opportunity for them to, you know, pass some of that down and, you know, show them a lot of that. Definitely is an interesting aspect that you don't really see as much of. It's very unique to having a university league like this.
Yeah, it's always good to see some of the mentorship that goes through. Of course, I believe Cirquest and Viridian as well, with a wealth of competitive experience. As we said, Cirquest has been playing this Uni League for a hot minute, of course, under the UNSW Raw banner. I believe the last stint I got to saw him was 2 seasons ago, actually. So Cirquest might have changed overall as a player, of course, but he's still the same lad we know and love. But of course, Viridian as well in this roster, as we've said, 2 players to look at as well. I believe Fervent, bit of a new face to me, but I believe his name does ring a bell from somewhere. I'm just not quite sure. Maybe it was on the Raw the season before this, or even the same season that I casted Cirquest in. His name definitely does ring a bell. But we've got Pacific Donga back. It appears he might have fixed his issues, and the unpause is coming through. We're going live in round number 11, and, you know, unfortunately, as we said, the Deakins still not quite in the most stable of economy, but Pacific Donga might be looking to go for this hero AK.
Finally, we will see the unpause come out. As you said, the hero AK coming out from Pacific Donga, but mostly just a pistol buy from the rest of the Deakins lineup, so they're feeling pretty comfortable with that, I suppose. Just waiting for another opportunity to buy up. Quick long aggression coming out from UNSW Raw, putting those 2 players up for display site. Meanwhile, Upper's aggression also coming forward. Forvin can take 1 out onto Dirty as the remainder of the Deakins start to make their way up.
So a heavy amount of mid presence here. Gibbs going to be taking out Malkin, and you can see the rest of the Deakins still trying to get into the site. Don, as we said, the hero AK needs to come in huge, and, well, it has entry into the site, but he's the only one left alive as that bomb tries to cross through the spawn side. And what we saw from the UNSW Raw is, you know, it's not the greatest of circumstances to really go for that split against them, because they've got a ton of presence being held towards the CT side. And you can see Gibbs Some shots in a Pacific Donga takes him down to 40. Flash toss to the door. He might be looking to turn his attention towards the tunnel, but forever he is posted on the line if he's trying to exit out. Pacific Donga just trying to hit a shot on his exit here, and I don't think the Raw are giving him anything. He's going to be jumping around. Shot miss. No scope. Pacific Donga. Okay. Puts these kids in session here. One of the older players, I believe, in the Uni League, but still got his sharp shots in him. A few more players still to find. Of course, 30 seconds, but he still needs to retrieve that bomb. And the UNSW Raw have it unlocked. WF to close it. 6 here for the Raw.
Not really a lot to come out of that one, as of course Deakins pretty well on just pistol armor, so really just trying to go for a plan for whatever they could get, any damage they could take, any guns they could steal away from UNSW, really being the main objective there. Round win far more unlikely, but now they have got themselves a full buy Galil for Donga as a result of his choice to buy up in the last round. And while he did take some guns away, it's certainly not going to majorly affect the UNSW Raw economy, who have been able to save some AKs and build up a bit of a bank of their own. Mid control going the way of the Deakins, making that their way up towards top of short. We might see a very similar play if they choose to hit mid to B again. Smoke out for it. We'll see what they choose to do with it.
Here comes a molly. Of course, already in person on that line with the AWP. Very good at the moment for the Raw. Of course, takes a shot, falls back a little bit, but still expected to hold that line off. Flash up through the short side. And at the moment, the Deakins peppered a few bullets into their side. Looking still for this A short split here with one player over towards long. I believe it is, of course, going to be Cross awaiting the duel against Gibbs. And as you said, Viridian is to post on this AWP. This is going to be a rough hold to A, but if anyone can do it, it's the UNSW Raw.
Exactly right, but Viridian find that first shot. Second as well, peeks his head up, but Dirty will shut it down. All needed. He's going to try and find another one, but Noir will deny it. Now going to be all on that player in this 1 versus 3. Needs to find all of these shots to make it happen, but Forvin, well, I thought he would shut it down, but gonna whiff that first. Noir managing to find some damage, finds the first shot, finds a second. Now this is very doable, except the HP not quite there, and Cirquest able to just make the peak off that. Still valiant effort coming forward, however.
Yeah, tough economic damage being done as well. UNSW Raw leaving it down to Cirquest, and well, they're going to be able to pick up the round. Everybody scanning for the intel, scanning for the util there from the Cirquest. He's going to be picking up all the nades again, and he's that AWP. Not quite able to walk to it though. The AK saves, but around over again to the UNSW Raw. This is 5 in a row. The Deakins, though, they're now to a stable economy for the moment, of course, in that economic rough state. 5 rounds, lost bonus, of course, fully there for them, so they're going to be investing AWP out for Dirty. And I have to say, Noir almost made that round doable, and a bit of overpeaking, I have to say, from the UNSW side.
A little bit, yeah. Deakins be trying to just punish any peaks as well as best they can, and they've been able to do that just by holding onto that long angle, find the kill on the corner with that. And they're able to buy up. Pacific Donga, Dirty, both finding picks as well to open up the pathway. Cirquest trying to do his best to trade, but he's unable to find anything there now. Him and Forvin try and make this 2-on-5 happen. Not shying away particularly, still playing around CT, but Cross in the perfect positioning there. He's able to shut down Forvin. Cirquest now sandwiched in between these players. Cross having any idea of where Cirquest is, but if he tries to make a play, certainly will be flushed out.
This is a rough situation to be in for Cirquest. You can't really get an escape without having to fight one player from the Deakins. Pacific Doggo dropping off short, has spotted him out, gives the info over to the rest of his teammates. Now Cross has full awareness, and well, beautiful shot soon will be landed. And 6th round on the board for the Deakins. They aren't going down without a fight in this first half, and again, continuing to even it at this kind of 7-6 score. It's very hard to tell who's going to be taking the round lead going into the end of this half.
Yeah, it will be pretty difficult to see how it goes. I mean, again, this game so far has just been pretty neck and neck, really, Tony. A lot of A lot of stages where both of these teams have had to just go back to those pistols, where the economy has been in disarray on both sides at various stages, and well, in this case, it's going to be the Raw who are on that force by pistols only, hoping to do what they can. Dirty will be able to find an opening pick on Gibbs. However, Noir just trying to play the corner on short and will be able to get that kill as well. Opens a pathway up over towards the A site. You're going to see Cross rotating back around to the bedroom with the bomb as Noir is able to spot one alongside Malkin over in tunnels. Cirquest will be there for the trade at the very least, but WF also falling down. It will leave him by his very self.
Yeah, and Noir going to be checking. A good check, I have to say, from the Deakins, expecting maybe a bit of aggression towards the lower tunnels from the side of the UNSW Raw, and that's 7-7 even up, and Deakins now in a good spot to take this last round, because of course the UNSW Raw down to Deagles, Scout here for Cirquest, very limited in terms of the economy. And that is put in a very, very heavy sting here in this last one. Dirty! Straight shot, straight to long, takes out Gibbs to start it off. This is really good for the Deakins going into this last one.
Nice shot from Noir as well. Cirquest just tries to pick out mid on whatever they can. UNSW Raw looking to do whatever they can for this last round with the Deagles. The only thing coming through so far is a tag. Or then WF to fall down as those AKs just swing out very aggressively to find those 2 kills. And now Viridian City left in absolutely impossible 1v5. Gets spotted out in CT and will be taken down. And that is going to be that. Deakins clutching at the round advantage at the very half, but very much so a tied up game overall, as close as it can get, as things have just gone neck and neck so far to kick off this map number 1.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see, of course, from the Raw on their map pick. Deakins started this game off with 3 straight rounds in very convincing fashion, but the Raw, of course, had something to prove, and you now see the side swapped the Deakins to the CT side. It's UNSW Raw to the T side, and a very heavy aggressive stack outside of the tunnel, going to be tossing down the smoke. It's going to be up to Pacific Donga. Beautiful first shot onto Forvin, but now he needs to find a few more players. Dirty here to back him up. Pacific Donga spots another. Head taps are perfect here from the side of the Deakins right now. Dirty trying to hold it on the cross, but Cirquest has got some taps of his own to prove.
Yeah, that smoke clearing will enable the re-entry. Cross will hit that shot, and now Viridian City left in a 1-on-3. No bomb, no possibility of rotation, and no information. And that is going to be what leads him to meet his demise in the end there. Pistol round going the way of the Deakins, who maintain their advantage after the half switch over. Starting off with their CT side very nicely there. Now getting themselves with some rifles and SMGs.
MP9's being bought up. Deakins trying to get some cash early on so they can get that all out as soon as possible. But, you know, it's interesting to see 3 players straight to those M4s. Of course, 2 A1Ss, 1 M4A4. UNSW Raw only stuck to pistol, so if they can steal away one of these guns, they could potentially make this round doable. Dirty going to be playing close door. Going to be holding the cross here in the UNSW Raw. They've gotten heavily up through middle, but they're going to be found by 3 players. It's 2 actually. The Deakins B hold been on lock so far this half. It's just going to be up to Cirquest. Going to be peppered down with the MP9 and Dirty. Double digits go the side of Deakins 10-7.
Very clean, especially in a round like that, not losing any guns. UNSW Raw definitely having the opportunity to try and punish their opponent economically if they're able to get any of the kills there, but unfortunately, none will go their way. All of those weapons will make their way into this next round, where we're seeing very aggressive long push. 3 players going to be playing forward and a 4th to flash them in and make its way back over towards mid. Quick nade as well will go through into bedroom from Malkin, who will actually be able to tag Gibbs down to half health. Cirquest going to be throwing door smoke there to just try and block off any mid players from spotting his teammates making their way up to short. Accompanying bomb as they make their way over onto this A side as best as possible. Noir on the other side of this short smoke, getting ready to find something. Finds a bit of damage on Viridian, but not much else.
It's a very aggressive pre-fire angle to take there for both sides, but Nor able to get out scot-free. Was Viridian taking a bit of damage on the tail end of that one, and this leaves the hit for the side of UNSW Raw up in air, because they know there's at least one player holding that short side, might be two, of course. Pacific Domino rotated over towards the ramp to help his teammate out. It's going to be Cross holding the cross there over towards middle, going to be picking up one, but WF trades it immediately, and now it's up to Dirty. MP9 in hands, looking to push on a tunnel, and Forever it's not looking the right way. That's a free AK now for Dirty. It's going to be another trade, though, over in middle. It's Malkin trying to find it long range with the MP9. Noir deep in the spawn side. UNSW Raw, they get the bomb down, but are they able to hold it down? I don't think so. Gibbs going to be taken. Still have to deal with tunnel, but they have to deal with this retake now coming in from the Deakins from spawn.
They have to get a pick back if they can. That flash will not dissuade WF from hitting that shot onto Dirty, though, so at least back into a 2-on-2 Noir. He's swinging around the door, trying to find whatever he can. Will find the heavy tag onto WF, but Viridian able to help him out a little, and WF able to swing it back around the corner and then go back for some more. Just playing around that cover very nicely, so they will be able to make that post plan work out and get themselves their first T-side round. Very nice stuff coming out from the Raw, being able to just shut that out. To play very well, despite having lost those players.
You can see the Deakins eco stack it long, and they might have read it well. There's a few players over. Dirty able to take two, but they all fall in the blink of an eye. That's a very quick eco round being picked up by the UNSW Raw. But the Deakins, they made it a little bit expensive, taking out WF and Cirquest. But still, plenty of money across the board for UNSW Raw. 2-2 in the half so far. It's still Deakins with 1 round lead, and they're on the rifles. Of course, it's going to be an AWP out here for Dirty, and this is now up to UNSW to keep the Deakins down in this second half.
Certainly is. Just going to be seeing some very quick aggression from Dirty, but he will get spotted by that gun barrel. Doesn't matter, though, because he swings back over towards lowers and finds the pick regardless. Cross going in for some more, just swinging out dry, and that will be the end of him. That Dirty, still very aggressive with this AWP, will continue pushing forward. Noir with him as well. So they just push through that smoke like it isn't there. Find those 2 kills. Just absolutely unafraid of the danger lurking on the other side. Though that B site still will be left open, so Cirquest, Viridian able to get themselves onto the site and find themselves in this 2v3 post plan.
And smoke to door, 2 players coming from the tunnel here. High flash is good. Blinds both of them. Cirquest caught behind the box. Now the other Viridian behind the car, taken by Malkin. That flash was all too clean. I believe it was tossed by Malkin in the retake. Deakins. Beautiful round takeoff of UNSW Raw. Keep them low in the economy and also keep them low in the round department. And getting scarily close to closing this game out. Of course, they still need at least 5 more to get to that 16 margin. But Deakins, they're getting there. And some of these retakes, I have to say, in some of these post-play plays, Deakins have been on point.
Yeah, that flash, as you said, was just so good there. The way that they were able to just immediately play off it with the timing. Just as soon as it was out, as soon as it bloomed, the swings were there and the kills were there. And the Raw were unable to hold on. Really nice stuff overall, and some very coordinated teamwork coming from the Deakins to make that retake happen, of course. A bit of teamwork coming as well in lowers as we see the boost up to try to spot a short, aggressing player. None there, though, so the play not quite working out in this round. However, they don't know if there is a player close by, playing on the other side of the double doors in mid. Malkin very much so tempted to swing, perhaps, or just hold on regardless. Having a bit of information, having heard some footsteps. Dirty will be waiting on the other side of short there. Try and hit a shot. Should contact be made. Smoke out, and it surely will be.
Yeah, smoke comes out, and you can still see potential run boost in. Again, Forever going to be the one boosted up on that angle. Dirty, of course, holding it. Posted up with the AWP in hand. The Deakins don't see a ton of presence being shown, and sees ahead, though. Dirty will take it off. Sky high, Noir taking another over towards WF at long, and again, Dirty can just reposition here, spots another head. Cirquest trying to sneak up through the short corner. is going to see a few flashes, a few mollies, and a few players now to beat him across from the ramp. Able to take out the first, tags up Forbit low, and now Dirty's taking out his teammate Cross to take the final, and Deakins, again, a beautiful retake, this time losing no one in the process.
Yeah, very much so. Just the way they're able to stop that plant and just do so much damage, especially with their utility as well, with the Molotovs that those players had to run through, just being able to find those picks with the AWP. UNSW Raw, certainly appreciate what they tried to do with slowing the push down and trying to just, you know, bait it out with the second smoke, but it's not quite going to plan. Again, more aggression coming out from the Deakins as Dirty just holds that aggressive angle in lowers and gets a pick for it. Even goes for the re-swing, and we'll find a second onto Cirquest. He goes for more too. Spots the drop down. And he's going to continue holding that angle. Finds a third. Almost gets the fourth there on a WF. Melkin will help him out, but the USP will also come forward as WF will finally go down. A quick little 4K from Dirty as he plays so aggressively, now dropping 27. Absolutely insane stuff there. Malkin also just doing him a solid by holding around the corner as well.
And a quick reminder too, this is UNSW Raw's map pick. The Deakins really coming out swinging here in this first map of this best of 3. Of course, we're in playoffs, and you know, you really want to be finding this kind of first map, get a little bit of confidence and a little bit of advantage going into a series like this. Very high stakes going deep into the playoffs. WF going to be needed. HE does half. Beautiful from nowhere. And you can see the rest of the Deakins. It's a nice off angle. It's actually a boost here for Pacific Dong on the spot short side. Another smoke is dropped and cover is given. Pacific Dong might not be checked in this angle. Viridian's cautious. Shots come from Gibbs. Some shots traded, and now they're going to have to back off. Pacific Donga drops off the boost. HE is dropped in both players. They acknowledge the position's Dirty. That's it off in the tunnel, though.
Very nice pick coming forward. Gibbs looking to try and find one and return onto Donga if possible. Will get a bit of damage. Won't quite spot Cross. He does, but doesn't find the fatal shot, so the kill will go the other way. Deakins finding some very nice picks to kick things off, as again we just see so much CT aggression coming from them, just playing very much so up nice, close and personal. Noir doing even more of that, still holding around in hit there. Dirty finding himself another dirty shot, and Viridian City now left in a 1-on-4. 2 of his opponents tagged low, but with that AWP, it does make it a little bit more difficult to hit those multiple shots at once, as opposed to something like an AK or an M4 you can just spread around. Plus, the time left, well, he's just going to have to save this one, really.
Unfortunate situation. Ooh, gets a shot into a down mid. Again, Viridian, he really wants to keep this AWP in play. He's given away his position. The Deacon's looking to hunt him too. Malkin goes up through middle. Viridian going to be posted up behind the boxes, safe for the moment, but it gives away the round to the Deakins. 14, scarily close to that match point, getting scarily close to taking home this first map against the Raw here in the playoffs. And well, for the Raw, they don't quite have the economy to work with. Unfortunately, no play going to be securing them any more money. They're on the loss bonus, but they don't really have the money to buy. It's a very unfortunate situation to be in, and this is where Deakins can continue to mount this kind of pressure that they've been putting on. Dirty going for a ton of aggressive peaks. Going to be backing off, just playing the short side this time around. Deakins in very aggressive positions, considering.
Yeah, very aggressive indeed. I suppose that's what we've seen a lot of from the Deakins, just playing very much so hyper-aggressive in terms of just holding these advanced angles, just, you know, these very posted up positions, finding those picks and surprising their opponents where they can. Dirty dropping 29 as well, hoping for a 30 for Dirty. Very nice stuff to see. Well, within the realm of possibility as well. Pacific Donga going to find some early damage in uppers, and that's going to leave the Raw to instead just make their way over through mid.
Ooh.
Now moving over, Viridian to hit a nice shot onto Cross. Dirty will be able to secure that 30, go for 31, get the 32 while he's at it, just going kill after kill, but Viridian will deny him any more.
It's a double scoop ice cream with the sprinkles on top. Viridian, now the last player left, and Pacific Donga gonna hunt him down. He knows he's up on short. 15 now taken match point here for the Deakins on map number 1 of this series. It's UNSW Raw's map pick yet again, and this is unfortunate for them. They do have the money to invest into this one. Of course, they didn't quite secure the plant, so their money not the greatest, but at least a few of the players now have a full kit to work with here. But for the side of the Deakins, they're feeling confident. Dirty, of course, hitting that 30 mark, and we're going to find a few more smoke dropped at the long doors, and Deakins might see a few players from the Raw meet their crosshairs in just a second.
123 ADR from Dirty, by the way.
Oof.
2.7 KD. Just absolute impact that this guy's having in this game, in this server so far, has been absolutely off the charts. Well, let's see if he's going to have some more posting up on long, and we see even more players for Viridian City to go down, as once again this man just going to strike back. For Evan, going to find a trade back, however, onto Noir to make it a 4-on-4. Deakins now exiting long as WF. Here's some players trying to charge up over towards short. Needs to find this shot, however, will be able to get it. But not expecting the players behind Malkin to get that trade. Now knowing where the remaining players can come from, this certainly does limit what the Raw can do. Quick flash will go forward, no peek. Dirty just going to be playing very close to the site. Almost transfers into a second there, but won't quite happen. Malkin will get it though. Now onto Sirquest to make this 1 versus 2 to keep his team in this map.
You can see Sirquest hunting for the short player in Pacific Dominance, just hunting for Sirquest, trying to spot him out, and we'll find him in the open towards the corner, and that is going to be it for the first map. 16 rounds to the Deakins, 16-9. They'll be taking Dust 2 off of the UNSW Raw. And I have to say, my god, again, a props to Dirty. 34 kills. Only 13 deaths to end that massive game from Dirty. And as well, Noir to back him up with 22. Very star-studded across the roster. Pacific Dong just leading the boys to victory. Maybe doing some calls behind the scenes. But the Deakins looked unstoppable there in that first map.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the pure momentum they were able to build up, and just the sheer amount of things they were able to pull off on that CT side was just ridiculous. It was so close. It was so neck and neck. But in the end, there's 6 rounds in a row from Deakin. Absolutely insane stuff coming forward to kick off this first map. And again, as you said, that being UNSW's pick as well certainly does make things very interesting to see. We're going to have our map number 2 of Inferno coming out very, very soon. But before we do that, we're going to just quickly cut to a short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned for some more action. Welcome back, everyone, to this playoffs match. We've just seen first map come through of the UNSW Raw versus Deakins. It's been quite the exciting one, of course, as we've just seen the Deakins take out map number 1, their map pick of Dust 2. Did say it the other way around a bit earlier, but quick correction, that was the Deakins map pick of Dust 2. So that leaves us with the UNSW pick of Inferno. It should be rather interesting. But before we get to that, Tony, we've got some lovely sponsors we need to give a quick shout out to.
Of course, the Uni League wouldn't be possible without our lovely presenting partner, Chatime, the freshest iced tea in the business, of course. Try their new range at your local store today. Chatime, the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia, with over 120 Chatime tea breweries and commitments to quality ingredients and, of course, innovative flavors. You can check it all out, as I said, at your local store. AOC, the global leader in monitor display technology, with more than 50 years delivering exceptional viewing experience worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for at the home or in the office, or just doing some general gaming. Of course, AOC have you covered. Indomie, of course, delicious meagering at your local supermarket, of course, to check out their variety of flavors. My mate, of course, just had some earlier, I believe, just before dinner, so he's feeling famished, and hopefully you are too after, of course, some of these lovely Indomie noodles. But as well, RIG, what it takes to win. These teams, of course, have what it takes to win. We saw the Deakins, they have what it takes to win, especially Dirty. Very nice 30 there in that first map. But of course, we'll see whether he has it here on Inferno. But of course, RIG, they deliver superior audio for competitive gamers or competitive streamers. Whether you're looking to take your audio to the next level, RIG have you covered, of course. Join their team today and enhance your gaming experience.
Yeah, again, very big shout outs to Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and RIG, helping support the broadcast, helping, get this show on the road, helping to provide a platform for these players to, show off their skills. And of course, gotta love everyone who is in it to support some Australian Counter-Strike. Massive love to our sponsors. Be sure to go check them out. But we will be getting into map number 2 very shortly. Of course, as I said before, this being the UNSW pick, we'll have to see whether or not the Deakins will have it in them to change things up, to, continue this momentum forward after taking their map pick on Dust 2 and bring things over here onto their opponent's playing field. We'll just be seeing players getting into the server, just waiting on, I believe, Pacific Dom to hop into the server. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Hopefully it should be very nice. Very quick transition as we get ready for this next map. We do see Pacific Dom in the server now, so very much so keen to frag, ready to get the show on the road. I'm very keen to see how this map will go, Tony. Very keen to see if we'll see a 2-0 coming out from the Deakins tonight, or whether or not we're seeing UNSW take us over to Nuke for map number 3.
Yeah, we spoke a bit about Nuke, but of course, the side of UNSW Raw, they're going to have to take their map pick now on Inferno. And overall, I've seen, of course, Cirquest, a very coveted Inferno player. He likes to play B a lot from memory. I don't know if he still plays it for this UNSW Raw. I imagine not much has changed since, a few seasons ago. Cirquest, of course, a very star-studded player. Viridian as well. Didn't get to quite see the impact expected out of him. It was really all the Deakins taking it to him, especially Dirty and Noir. Very star-studded roster. Very star-studded kills coming out from them. For the Raw, we have to look to kick the Deakins down again here. And it appears, of course, the issues have been fixed from Pacific Dom, where we saw no pauses going into the end of that game. They just seem to have worked it out. And hopefully no technical issues plague us in this one. Because, of course, Inferno, a pretty good map, of course, for the Deakins, but also a very good map for the Raw historically as a roster.
Yeah, Deakins, very much so, should be rather interesting to see how they go on this map. But UNSW Raw, of course, feeling very confident with this Inferno pick. They did make things still a relatively close game, at the very least, as far as their CT side was concerned on that first half of Dust 2. So, even despite, things not going their way in the second half, still being able to get that close on their opponent's map pick, still, definitely quite the achievement. And now moving over to your second map, which is obviously your favorite because you picked it. Definitely should give them a bit of confidence. Feel like they can re-energize, get back into things here. We will be seeing this starting off with the Deakins on CT side.
Yeah, the Deakins, I feel, get to start the almost more favorable side of Inferno. Of course, we've seen some pretty good T sides out of a few of these teams in the Uni League, but, you know, one that CT side that definitely isn't shaken from my mind anytime soon was the Uni Melb one in, I believe, their last match. Uni Melb, of course, very strong team on Inferno, and so are the UNSW Raw. Early nade comes out from Noir, takes another headshot on the Gibbs. That's the way Deakins want to start this game off. Cross, though, going to be taken. Malcolm trades it back, but here comes WF with a bit of a revenge path towards the B site, but they're going to be flanked in just a second. Dirty Pacific Donga already behind them. WF, though, lines them up with the Glock train as the first round goes to UNSW Raw. That's how they want to start it here on Inferno. A beautiful banana push and not even really needing to secure that bomb plant.
Oh, that was just beautiful there from WF, being able to hit those 2 Glock shots. Very nice lineup overall, just having those players, for the most part, bunched up and ready to go. Very nice way to kick off your map pick, I feel like, you know, getting yourself that first pistol round. Although, your opponent now, in the Deakins, going to be buying all the way up, and Dirty kicking things off with a very different scoped weapon to what we saw him get the majority of his kills with in that last map, but still a very lethal one nonetheless, especially with a shot like that onto WF.
Very quick one to come out from the side of the Deakins. Smoke goes the cross. Gibbs, of course, holding the flank, because we saw how quickly the side of the Deakins really went for that flank up banana. Raw cautious of it, though, this time around, and for the moment, they might be looking to rotate it out. B might not be the way they want to go, because there's 3 players over here for the Deakins, 2 towards the back of the site, 1 over in the spawn boost, of course, up on the pot plants. The Raw still just playing with the time for the moment, trying to maybe bait out or over-rotate here from the Deakins.
Seeing what they can do here. 40 seconds left as the Raw have kind of just slowed things down for the most part. Dirty going to be just trying to find some more shots with that scout. We'll be able to find one. Almost lands a shot onto Viridian, but not quite able to connect it. Will be able to delay them, however, which does buy some time for the Deakins to get that full rotate in. They've already got some players close, with Cross just playing over towards the coffin. Cirquest chucking a smoke down and getting that plant on the other side of it. Cross going to the peak. We'll be able to get it, and Donga will also be able to find that final kill, as well as the Deakins make the force by work.
Yeah, 1 for 1, and, you know, keeping some of these guns online to the Mac 10. The MP9 are going to be good at securing the cash there. Cross, you saw, just waited for the right opportunity to pounce. He didn't need to overswing once he heard the plant. He just had to wait for his teammates to come through the CT side, and just power in numbers. The Deakins were able to retake that one. 1-1 in the scoreline, as we said, and this is the UNSW Raw now. Their economy not the greatest, even after securing that first, even after securing the plant in that round. Their money is a little bit rough, to say the least. No investment going to be put in this one. Just Deagle P250 for a few players here on the Deakins. They might want to hold on to these guns themselves.
Yeah, definitely might want to just try and hold on to some guns as well. Quick nade to go out into that second minute will do quite a fair bit of damage onto Forever and Gibbs, taking them both down to that sub 40 HP mark. Lower for Forvent. Pacific Donga also on this angle here, just going to be spraying out all of these players, finding himself the 4K all of a sudden, going into mid. Will be pulling out the Deeg to find the final one, and lands it as well. Pacific Donga just pulling out that nice anti-eco ace. Very beautiful stuff to see so early on.
Yeah, very disciplined, I have to say, from, of course, the side of the Deakins there. And AK being saved from that last round by Pacific Donga. He puts it to immediate use there. Of course, Pacific Donga was plagued with tech issues, but appeared to be crisis averted. And he appears to be backfiring on all cylinders here to start this map off for the Deakins. You can see UNSW Raw, though, they're back to firing on all cylinders. AKs across the border, Util back aplenty, but the Deakins, they've invested a heavy amount of presence over towards this banana side early on. They've put 3 Cross, Dirty, and Noir all over at this position, and might be looking to find Circus walking up this broken wall.
Are going to be able to find that first pick as the deep smoke lands that banana control the way of the Deakins, and having those 3 players just play so aggressively to get that pick really works out overall. After all, Cirquest just left in that kind of 3v1 situation there. Now his teammates having to try and swing things back around onto this A site. Luckily, they are able to do exactly that. Gibbs clearing around that corner, and Forevant will also be able to just get that nade kill as well to turn things around rather quickly. Now the Deakins completely shut out of this A site. Looks like they're going to be opting for a save here.
Yeah, they're just going to have to keep these guns online. UNSW Raw, though, a good site take to A, and securing that plant, securing the money is what we need from them right now. And, of course, securing that second round, keeping it still neck and neck. We saw it on Dust 2, of course, to start this series off, but then the Deakins were able to inch it out in the end, really get in full form. But the Raw, they've dug deep, and, of course, started this one up an even score. 2-2, as we said, 3 actually going to fall to the bomb, and that's going to be a little less than UNSW Raw would like. That's 3 guns gone, only an AK saved. They get the round, but they much needed that util and that weaponry.
Oh, that's not good. That's absolutely catastrophic for their economy, and as a result, we're going to see Gibbs going completely without util. Cirquest picking up the Mac 10. He's already been tagged down 17 by Dirty, just going for that quick mid pick. He'll also be able to take out WF, so much impact being done by the Deakins. UNSW Raw, yeah, losing all those guns like that is so unfortunate. They just didn't get far enough away from the bomb, given the health they were on, I suppose. But I guess just because of the plant position, not really expecting that would be the distance. But yeah, because of where the bomb was. Ow. We're going to be seeing some more aggression coming out from the Deakins. Just flashing forward over towards Top and Nana, but not quite going to work the way they'd hoped. Instead, the trade's actually favoring UNSW Raw, bringing it back to a 3-on-3. Now the smoke going over towards CT. Dirty watching from the other angle on top of Coffin. Might be able to find a pick here if someone should cross the sight line. So far, nothing to show itself.
A well-timed molly, though, forces UNSW Raw back. Smoke comes to CNC. This is where Dirty's position could be compromised, but that's just a bait smoke. That's just a bait flash, too. They're over towards his A site now. It's going to be up to the 2 players over at A Pacific Donga and Malkin to hold it down across through the arch side. Flash to be tossed by Forever in just a second. It's actually just going to be the dry peak. They walk up on a Pacific and they take out Malkin. Beautiful take to the A site yet again for the Raw. Extremely low HP bars, and Dirty able to do it. He's retrieved an AK, he's picked it up. Forever killed his teammate. Cirquest got killed in the archway. And that is going to be the bomb trying to go down. Gibbs able to hero that shot on the Dirty, but what just happened? Raw are falling apart, it would seem, early on.
Yeah, that's so weird. Okay, well, Raw somehow able to get it back together, but yeah, not exactly sure what's happening. We are going into a quick pause meanwhile. Not sure what's happening with that either. But yeah, definitely the UNSW Raw off to a little bit of a shaky start, even if they are taking the advantage. Some misplays coming forward, but Deakins looking a little bit more calm and collected as they've been able to find so many of these early picks. Going to BK in the Twitch chat, Dust 2 was actually the pick for Deakin. But that seems really weird, because I swear I looked in the Vita link, BK, and it said UNSW picked it. So unless I somehow read that wrong or the teams were switched, not exactly sure, but I double checked that. So a bit uncertain. But if you say so, BK, I'll trust your word, mate. Still 2-3 as we're just waiting to find out what exactly is happening on the UNSW front. But how are we going, chat? I'm seeing some more people in the Twitch chat as well. We're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook, so be sure to chuck some follows over there. AU Esports League is the handle. Also be sure to follow on Twitter as well for more updates. in terms of if you want to see when more matches are going live, and we're going to have plenty more playoffs games coming soon, so definitely be sure to, stay in and watch out for those, because should be some very interesting Counter-Strike coming up. Should be some more interesting Counter-Strike coming up soon in this game, as soon as we get the tech pauses all done. But
yeah, it's interesting. I believe SirQuest, from what the chat has told me, the players, of course, SirQuest, I believe, lagged out. It was still an interesting team kill, because it wasn't from SirQuest. It was forever to find that one. Yeah, not what I was expecting. Raw played these last few rounds a little bit sloppy, to say the least, and the Deakins not quite able to punish it, but Pacific Donga landing his words of wisdom. He's telling SirQuest he can put the PC on his bed. RGB for the win. So Pacific Donga, a big fan of RGB. He likes his lighting and such, but the Deakins keeping high spirits, considering the last 3 rounds pretty close and very good for Raw overall. Of course, not in terms of the economy situation. A few players still having to reinvest. Deakins, unfortunately, no, they're stuck to these Deagles, but we've seen some crazy things so far. We've seen a crazy close first map on Dust 2, and we're starting to see a crazy close first half here on Inferno, as the pause is going to be cancelled. We'll see another one in just a second, I imagine. There it is. Don't we have to call that one, as we still await SirQuest's return here.
should be back into it soon, folks. Just waiting to see. SirQuest will get back into the server so we can keep this matchup going. But yeah, has been pretty close so far. But has been quite the interesting one. And also just seeing a bunch of people in the Twitch chat just thinking, that we're going to see SirQuest toggling there. SirQuest just waiting to get back in. Well, I'd hope if that's the case, we've got our admin team on it. So don't worry about that. But we will be seeing, maybe he will be playing a bit better once he's sorted his issues, who knows? We'll be able to see his true level 10 gameplay. So aptly put. But, yeah, we're just going to be waiting real quick. Not much more to say, but if you want to just say hi to us, look, I'm just looking at chat at this point.
Take some questions.
Take some questions, make this a Q&A session.
Bit of a delay, but
30 seconds.
Some questions. Oh,
something like
joining back, apparently. PC crashed. Yes, thank you for Viridian. Keeping us updated. So SirQuest hopefully back soon. But yeah, Inferno, as we see, a little bit of an interesting map. Of course, prone to some very early splits here are the Raw. It's showing a lot of presence towards that B site and getting Deakins invested in that kind of hold, but then completely pulling the plug on that, go straight back to A. Deakins crumble under the pressure, it would seem. In that last round, they just walked up. They didn't even use util. No high flash, no nothing. Pacific Donga and Malkin, I believe, just falling in the pit and the back of the site. And well, if the Raw can do that in a few more of these rounds, they can look to find themselves a half lead and then stem that maybe into this first map and take us to Nuke.
Yeah, very well could be the way things go, I suppose, Tony. Would be very interested to see how map number 3 on Nuke turns out, but given how so far this game, I mean, especially the first map in the first half, very close. Still unsure whose pick it was in the end, because I very much thought it was UNSW's pick. I thought that's what I read on the veto page, but BK making me doubt everything with that comment in chat. I'm honestly tempted to just have a look once again on that logs just to try and prove him wrong. I really am. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you know what? I think I'll just trust his word on it. Yeah, still not sure what's happening. Is any more updates in the chat, Tony? We're gonna be getting back to some games soon.
Seeing it unpause it, and there it is. No, I don't see any updates. He appears up there. He is. SirQuest comes to us at our darkest hour. He's returned, and we're looking to get back into it. That pause was quick. Good reaction there from Deakins, but we will see the readies, and we will be seeing our 6th round underway in just a second. Of course, we see, though, the side of the Deakins, not much that they can bring into this round. They've got a kit on the hands across. A few Deagles too to follow suit. And maybe we see a potential grenade stacked towards either banana or mid. We've seen a few of those CT teams, of course, in the competitive leagues really go for some of these eco-aggressive plays. And sometimes those HE stacks catch a team out. They lose a few guns, and the round really starts to go haywire from there.
And he's gone again. Oh, that's fun. You know what? I did actually look at the videos again to try and prove BK wrong, and I've been proven wrong. It was Deakin who picked Dust 2. So there it is, settled. Yeah. We've got it all sorted. So this is UNSW's pick, 100% now, 1,000% sure. Quadruple checked it by this point.
HLTV confirmed.
HLTV confirmed, indeed. And I know a HLTV writer who would very much not be happy with me saying that, but...
Oh, alright. We'll show away.
I'll say it anyway because love being toxic to Ash, Schliebo. Shout outs to him, man, if he's around. Hope he pugs later because I'm very keen to play some Counter-Strike after this. After watching so much action, got to get into it. BK better be playing as well. Anyway, as far as this game goes, yeah, I guess we're back. Oh my god, it's happening. It's happening, Tony. We're seeing some Counter-Strike.
Oh, let's go. A few early flashes up mid. You can see UNSW Raw actually opting for some second mid control this time around and leaving Banana, of course, completely unchecked. Dirty might be unchecked. Going for a wide shot. Takes out Cirquest. That's bomb drops. And info gathered by the Deakins. Of course, they can't grab the gun, but this is more than enough. Shot double up from Pacific. Donga AK picked up, and he's out of there. Sky high and flying that way, it would seem. The Deakins have brought these Deagles in and done a heavy amount of damage, just left to Gibbs and Forever, and they still have to be cautious of Pacific Donga up in apartments.
What impressive shots from Donga, but more to come forward from the UNSW Raw. They're able to take some more back. In the end, though, Deakins being able to just have that one player standing. And we'll be able to find that one. And I changed my mind, BK. At this point, I'm too excited. I'm too energetic from this game to go to bed after it's done. So things have been changed right back around again. Things changing up, much like how UNSW Raw changing it up with a very fast B push here.
And HC is not going to land this time. Molly, well timed there. Denies trying to stop the walk up, but Noir taken out by the Tech 9 Cirquest with a run and gun. This might be the plant here in a secured B site for the UNSW Raw, but here comes the players down Banana 2 double deagle, this time from WF. And it's going to be Viridian now, another being found. Pacific Donga meets the fate of that coveted pistol. Just left across. Few low HP bars, but a very rough site to retake, especially with a stack here in the construct. Cross is not going to expect it forever. Takes it. UNSW Raw, they answer straight back on an eco of their own.
Oh, stuff coming out. Overall, just the pistols coming forward. And just showing up in the end, the Deagles. Just so many impressive shots with these Deags in the last 2 rounds. Somehow that tech pool is really just bringing the pistol skills out of these players. Don't know what's up with that, but yeah, wow. Some really impressive stuff. Love to see it continue. Some D clips always good content. Deakins going to be just playing very much so a stacked A as they're going to be rotating 2 players back around after some initial util being thrown that way. Now only having Dirty just soloing the site with the AWP. And look, if you're going to put anyone soloing the B site, why not put it on the person who dropped over 30 in the last map with that AWP, you know? Definitely not a bad call to make. Quick smoke to go forward, but still the retreat being called in as the Raw make their way around to mid once more.
And it's going to be up to the Deakins to hold it again in this cross. Pacific Dogger going to be over towards the short side, or is what we call it diggity sometimes. Beautiful shot landing on a Cirquest yet again. Pacific Donga wielding this Deagle to perfection. Going to be picking up the first here, but here come the Raw. Viridian holding that with the AWP. Pacific Donga and Malcolm both taken in this site. The Raw stomp their way. They roar into this A site here from Dirty. Of course, bring out that AWP in this round. Probably just going to have to keep it for the next one.
Yeah, just going to be backing off with it. He actually just trying to go for some exits. Very well, just making his way over towards this T spot. Hoping something will peek its way up over through mid. Not be aware of, however, is Gibbs actually making his way, sneaking behind him, and this could be catastrophic here. Spots the player, doesn't go for the knife or anything fancy like that, but still, just the kill to take him out of it is all that's needed for the Raw, as they've made their way certainly well back into this. 5-3. Cirquest still sitting on -1 kills after all those deaths coming in from the disconnects, but hey, is what it is. Other than that, we're all certainly putting up numbers.
Yeah, I have to say, and again, Forever hasn't missed a beat in this map of Inferno. We saw a bit of it in Dust 2, but yeah, then the Deakins really started to show up. And of course, though, Forever not far behind WF2. Some good kills, some good starts to these rounds here for the UNSW Raw. It's all about how they convert it. Smoke, of course, across over at A. Brilliant, just setting up the play, but you can see the Deakins have pushed down second mid completely because, of course, nobody from the Raw lurking around that angle. They're just going to go straight to the B site, set themselves up in the post plant, and Deakins, this is a very rough site to retake with just pistols.
Yeah, certainly super rough, especially with those smokes all out on CT. Now with the rifles facing the way of Banana, where you've got all your players running through. WF with a huge spray down, picks up the Glock as well to make it 4. Pacific Donga left 1 versus 5, trying to approach and sneak in through that connector towards that coffin. We'll be able to actually get a nice cheeky shot onto Cirquest, even able to take away the AK, but all these T's around him, so close to the bomb where he's going to have to run out. It'll be hard to get back into with anything or to run away with it. So he just goes for more picks, ends up getting a second, which is still very nice effort, given what he had going into it, about 30 HP and a P250.
Yeah, it's stealing away the guns, stealing away the economy. Of course, UNSW Raw, they've got plenty of it, though, to expend their back pockets. Of course, quite loaded. Deakins now expending their pretty pennies into this one. M4s across the board, just a famous here for Malkin. Bit of util too, no kits this time for the Deakins, which is a little bit unfortunate. You can see Viridian just playing with the kind of aggression you want to see out of Raw right now. Of course, this is second map. They're down 1 already to the Deakins, and they really want to start this half off well. Already 6 on the board is good, but 7, 8, more than enough here on the T side of Inferno.
Yeah, very much so. Very interesting to see how this goes. Minute 12 left for UNSW Raw, who just slowing things down mostly, just taking that app's control, looking to try and work around mid, make an A hit work out. Deakins also playing very passively over towards B, so they wouldn't necessarily have that information of the lack of players on Banana. But now the hit coming out, Dirty just going to be boosted up onto the flower pot. We'll be able to find one. Donga as well, but trades mostly going the way of the Raw. Now finally shutting out all of those A defenders, finding all 3 players, leaving it on Cross and Noir to run in from that B side and get things back in order for them. Going to be a tall task, however, despite 2 of these players being heavy tagged. A lot of angles to watch, not a lot of util to work with, only 1 smoke, and that nade just landing right on point.
Yeah, flashes being tossed here. This is hard for Deakins to retake. You said the HP was low for a few players for Raw, but the util is still there for them, and Deakins, they're just backing off completely. M4A1 and M4A4 being saved by Cross and Noir, and this is going to be another round over to the side of the Raw. Beautiful 7. This is 4 now in a row. Lost bonus is full here from the Deakins side, but a few of them investing into that round means they're not going to have all too much in this one.
Yeah, absolutely right, Tony. Not going to be a lot for them to invest, and it seems like they probably just surround it with pistols. We'll see an upgraded pistol buy with 3 digs being bought, and armor as well. So, again, just not having that economy to get themselves back into it. As UNSW Raw really just kicking things back into gear for the most part. of early util damage coming from that HE as Gibbs taken down to 54 HP, which is not too shabby, all things considered. Whatever damage they're able to get done in this round certainly will have a bit of an impact, although the UNSW bank account certainly is getting built up by some of those players. WF, Revent, Viridian, all around that 6 to 8k mark. Minute 14 left as we see the grouping up, just coming over towards Banana, ready for that exec to be thrown out.
And you can see just eating on a knife's edge here. Noir going to be tossing out that smoke. Good cover given all the Deakins cross, able to find a little bit of an off angle. Cirquest not expecting him to be out in the open like that. And first pick to the Deakins, and UNSW Raw might be looking to back off. They slow, but look to step back. They will be looking to smoke right back into it. Cross does have a smoke of his own to deploy, but now this is up to how Deakins can hold it a little bit further. Cross back sight. Going to be a crossfire though. Dirty gets away with 2 on the Deagle. For Evan, though, Viridian entry is beautiful. A 2-2 now for this post plant here. Malcolm and Pacific Dong unfortunately don't have the guns that their teammates do have, and well, it's going to be a rough one to retake for Evan. Going to be taking out Pacific Dong and Malcolm. 1v2, both players towards the back of construction. Has picked up the AWP, but needs to put this pistol to work. Slow approach, checking every single corner possible, but Viridian covers the cross. And UNSW Raw pick up an 8. This is a very commanding T side here on this first half of the second map.
I know it was a 1v2, but honestly might have just been worth saving that AWP there. We've seen the reinvestment of the double AWPs come out, but not having to buy that gun and having a little bit of extra money certainly could have helped out. But I guess the Deakins also needing rounds to come forward. I mean, 5-round deficit so far, as UNSW certainly have taken the advantage and run with it. But going to be taking one of those AWPs to Banana, where he's able to get that pick onto Viridian City. Pacific going to be just holding an app, so we see the extinguishing of that Molotov. Quick nade as well as the UNSW players make their way up. All tagged down by it, but that won't dissuade them from just running it over through Diggity.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade kill though from Gibbs, but still UNSW Raw, they're able to mount this take Cirquest, picking up Malkin, and that's a player over towards the arch. You see Noir hasn't rotated quite yet. UNSW Raw haven't committed to the site plant just yet. It's going to be a peek wide from Dirty. Picks up one on the Forever, sneaks into the mid-side box. Gibbs still on this side. He spotted Dirty. He's wrapped around him, but so is Cross. He's wrapped around the front of the site. Gibbs not going to expect him now in that angle, but still able to pick it up. Trades it into the pit. Noir now to rotate over finally. Gibbs down to 14 points of HP. He's going to have to cross the middle of this site. He's going to have to cross into Noir. Does have a flash, a molly, and a HE to work with, but Noir's got the pincer. Bomb dropped out in the open, and Gibbs, he's going to have to salvage it. Noir slowly approaches. He looks towards the arch side. He's cautious. Gibbs now crosses, and this is a good timing for Noir, but he's not checking. He's not looking out in the open. Hasn't looked to the left, and this is Gibbs. Picked up the bomb. The shot comes out.
No.
Noir is catastrophically whiffing right now, and Gibbs is going to pick it up. All Noir had to do was look left. You got to look both ways before crossing the street. Deakins, they're going to be losing that round, and Raw, they pick up 9th.
Oh, the timing from both of those players there was just pretty horrific, because on one side, I don't think the stream caught it, Tony, but apparently Noir just not checking that angle, and likewise Gibbs not looking back either. That is absolutely rough, both sides there, and just the way it ended up ultimately benefiting UNSW as they've continued to just take round after round here. 6 in a row, the exact number they lead by. Yet another opening frag, or rather opening trade, going the way of UNSW as they look to take their approach over towards A again. Cirquest just pushing through B and finding 2 though might change things up, but WF spotting Malkin will be able to land the spray. Leave it all on Pacific Donga.
Yeah, it's up to Pacific Donga. The man to do it with the deal in a few rounds previous, but Gibbs in his off-angle corner. To check it though, he's not quite quick on his shots this time around. And the Raw, they secured double digits. We said 8 or 7 was more than enough. They've found 10 here and looking to find a convincing second half here. Oh, sorry, first half of the second map. Sorry. And, you know, the Deakins, this is not what we want to see from them right now.
Definitely not what you'd want to see from them indeed. UNSW really showing up on their map pick as they have just completely dominated on their T side, and they're looking to do even more damage. They certainly do. Viridian getting that 2-for-1 there as WF does go down, but still opens a pathway up onto that B side. And it does go forth from Dirty, however, still having so much impact in this game. Looking for some more, charging forward with that AWP so aggressively.
Yeah, and you can more than confirm, of course, off of this scoreline alone that this has to be Raw's pick, playing with utmost confidence in their T side. Dirty now looking to approach here for the retake. Gibbs has been spotted towards the back of the site, needs 2 more to find Cirquest and Forever. 1 towards Banana and 1 towards the barbecue, and they're both going to be taken. Nord checks both angles, doesn't even need the help of his teammates. The defuse to come in fully, and I expect Deakins will be picking up this round. Very close there on the wire, and able to secure the defuse in the end. You can see both players running for dear life just in case Pacific didn't have the timing. But 4th round being picked up by the Deakins, much needed going into the second half.
I mean, I feel like even just being able to get that baseline of securing, at worst case scenario, a 4-to-11 half, that's still a lot better, I feel like, than, you know, potential 12-3. As far as halftime scores go, 4-11 and 5-10, you know, some of those score lines where you do see big comebacks start from, so not saying that's guaranteed, of course, but the more rounds, the merrier for the Deakins at this point, just looking to try and lock in as many as possible before the half switch, before the second pistol round comes through. UNSW Raw looking to deny them that very opportunity. So they make their way up over through the apartments. Quick footstep is made, however, which might be a bit of an indicator. This is a Deakins player just sitting very close against the wall in Diggity, that being Noir. Dirty watching the other side with the AWP, waiting for a mid-peak to come through. We'll smoke it off. Minute left for UNSW as they're getting ready to strike out, but haven't been able to find anything thus far.
Wow, this is a crazy aggressive play. I was going to say he's about to be swung from the boiler in just a second. Gibbs immediately strikes fear into the hearts of the Deakins. Of course, as he said, there's still a crossfire being set up, but Dirty's been spotted there over towards the archway. Cross picks up one but towards Banana. Pacific Donga goes actually through that smoke. He actually trades positions with Forever. They're not going to know Pacific Donga's here. Doesn't even get a footstep, doesn't give any info, but the molly does. Pacific Donga's position be made aware. Deakins now with 3 players to retake. Viridian, such a good spot in the library, spots out Malkin. Flash comes out high from Cross. As him and Pacific Donga need to group up for this retake here. 4 players, though, still holding in the site for the UNSW Raw. This is almost impossible.
Viridian also having the perfect angle to watch. Will be able to find one. Tries for the second on the cross. Will be able to take a player with him, but as he goes for the re-peek, will get shut down. And that is going to be that 11-4 half as UNSW take a mighty advantage going into the second half in this second map. That is absolutely something. But now they've got to defend against the Deakins. See what they can do on the CT side as Deakins now looking to strike on the attack.
And looking to swap it up. And Deakins, they need to do the run that UNSW Raw did to even up this kind of half. Some shots early on the Viridian on the peak. And Malkin going deep with the shots himself for Evan. And Gibbs picking him up beautifully. Pistol taps galore. USPs are better than Glocks. It would seem better than picking 250s even. UNSW Raw make quick work of that round, only losing 1. And the Deakins straight back to losing ways. It would seem the Raw are just in control.
What a beautiful hold. Oh my god. Just the way that those kills were lined up was just absolutely beautiful stuff from UNSW. Love to see it, and they're looking to do even more now, having these SMGs. Opponents having very much the same as they're forced up. they've got a bit less weaponry in not having as much money to work with. Of course, WF going to just spray through, using that smoke for control. We'll spray through to the other side and find a kill. Don't even have to spot your opponent if you have a good inkling of where they are. Still 4 players left for the Deakins as they make their way back over towards mid. Bring that bomb over towards apartments, maybe up towards balcony. Dirty just holding back. That smoke in mid clears. Viridian goes for the peek, doesn't find anything.
Yeah, you can see Viridian still, though, in a good position to take another peek with his MP9, though. Pacific Donga and Cross able to trade it. Noir able to take another Gibbs. Here comes Cirquest from the other side. Though there's too many players to deal with as A site here for the Raw. Deakins, they will be dropping another. A valiant effort, I have to say, stealing away guns yet again, but still the Raw looking untouchable going into this second half. Of course, 2 straight on the board and getting scarily close to 14-15 and wrapping it up quickly here on Inferno.
Very much looking to wrap things quickly. That seems to be the game plan for UNSW. They want to bring things over to Nuke. I can't blame them. I want to see Nuke as well. WF going to be finding that shot onto Malkin through the smoke. MP9 smoke kills just being a specialty for UNSW in the last couple rounds by the ways of things. Revan just throwing out a quick util set as well over towards Nana. Molotov and smoke to go forward, as meanwhile his teammate Viridian City pushing behind, getting a nice kill, but not sticking around to be traded.
Yeah, you can see UNSW Raw just have every answer to what Deakins are throwing at them right now. And AK picked up by Dirty could be put to good use, but do they expect to see this player in the tunnel? They do. Viridian's going to be spotted out, and Dirty might be looking to pave the way back to A, or might just be looking to lurk over towards that site. The rotation is called. It's to a site here for UNSW. Raw and Dirty, of course, going to be throwing out that smoke, going to be tossing his way over back towards the banana site with the rest of his teammates. Smoke goes out, and this is the Deakins hit to be.
Haven't going to be able to find that opener. Will be stuck around the orange's position. Doesn't matter though. All those shots land so cleanly. And now the Deakins having to buy up here, pretty well having no other choice but to get on those rifles and those SMGs, whatever they can afford to buy up really. An AWP for Pacific Donga as well. Just going to try and do whatever they can here to stop what seems like the inevitable in UNSW Raw, just completely overwhelming the Deakins up to this point. See how exactly they go. Quick nade in towards bottom mid. Will do 1 point of damage. WF going to do a bit more with that Molotov as well. Again, just the Deakins getting limited so much over towards mid and being pushed back, but now making their way over towards banana. They might be ready to try and hit work. Cirquest going to try and shut it down.
Yeah, Cirquest, a beautiful pick to start it off on the Dirty. And then just able to get out scot-free. This is good now for the Raw in this 19th round. Smoke, of course, to the cross. Smoke to cover, and this is a well-timed one from the Raw, I have to say. Denies Malcolm the walk-up. Pacific Donga going to be seeing a HG. A bit of damage done onto the side of Deakins, but at the moment, they've got 3 stacked over towards his A site. The boost actually going to be coming out over the top. And Cirquest is going to be holding out in the open just behind the fountain. The rotation through CT. 3 now to be here for the Raw, and still the Deakins thinking about going for it.
Now thinking about going for it. Malkin gonna go down to Cirquest, who does land that spray in the end. Cross looking to try and cross over to this site, but Revan will be on that other side to just go for the quick peek and retreat back to cover. Both of these T's just being split apart by that wall, unable to trade off each other. Pacific Donga will be left. 15 seconds left. No rotate available to him. Will just be stuck over towards banana as all those CTs come pushing in again. Now UNSW Raw on that point. They're wanting to bring things over to Nuke. Aronsic probably butchered your name in Twitch chat, saying watch Nuke go into quintuple overtime. The way both of these teams have played tonight certainly would not be surprised, but for the sake of my voice box and for the sake of my throat, casting this hype match the way things have been, please no. I don't know if I can take it.
Too many overtimes, too many players going on, though. Too many kills going across the board here. 2 for the side of the Deakins to start off towards that second mid. UNSW Raw, they're panicked now for their hold. Viridian, of course, rotated into the site. Play towards the arch. Shine going to be spot 1 there towards the dig. Short walk. Noir takes out Cirquest, takes out another under Viridian. Deakins entry into this site, and beautiful at that. Forever going to be checked, though. Dirty. Just going to be spotted in the corner, and this is good for Forever. The bomb isn't quite down just yet. This is now in a doable situation. The Deakins, they need to get that down, and they need to secure themselves in probably better positioning, because Forever just needs to take 1v1s here to look to take this game off of the Deakins.
Yeah, 1v1's absolutely what you need to do. Just isolate the players as best as you can. But you need to play around their positioning, and well, Noir just getting the better of it there, up on top of the graveyard position. Be able to find that cheeky little headshot there and end that round win streak. That would be 5 in a row from UNSW, including the last round of the previous half. So many more rounds in a row. Just look on your screen now and the scoreboard, you'll see how many we've seen from UNSW Raw. Players posting up absolutely brilliant numbers, as well as this team has just been able to really shine through. But still the Deakins looking to put up a fight. They've got to get another 10 in a row to bring overtime, and that will be the only way to win it in 2 maps. Bit of a challenge. Forever going to make it even more of 1. Spray going back and forth, but the trades are even 3 against 3, and that bomb will go down.
Yeah, that was a bit of a chaotic hold there for the UNSW Raw. Of course, you saw Forever. Saw Cirquest go a little bit crazy through that smoke. Just wanted to get as many kills on top of that board as possible. Bomb goes down. Post plant now for Deacon. You can see 2 players in the back of the site. Gibbs caught with a molly in hand, trying to molly them out, deny the position. WF going to take out Dirty, though. Cross is able to trade up his position. WF going to be spotted over towards the push, and it's another here. Malcolm looking to hold mid. Looking to hold that CT spawn angle. Wallbang to close it, or picked up, or saved. Deakins save themselves again. Another round on their board.
Certainly the energy they've needed to just start firing up here. Better late than never, I suppose. Just trying to get that scoreline as close as possible. But still 9-round advantage going the way of UNSW Raw. Still on that point. What they don't have going for them right now is their economy. Back on pistols with Deag, the 5.7, and the USPs coming forward from them. Even a taser as well on WF, hoping to try and pull one of those off. Honestly, love to see it. Always funny to see taser kills in casted matches. Dong is actually coming forward towards the apartments, but WF will run in front. So no Zeus kills, but instead just another pick coming out from the Deakins.
Retrievable, though. I'm pretty sure the Zeus drops on the ground from what I've seen. Gibbs.
That's true.
Can pick it up. It's a one-shot at a close range, so might be looking to steal that M4 off Pacific Dong if possible, but at the moment he knows all too much. Dirty. Doesn't all too much. Shot Gibbs. No trades it. But immediately, though, the Deacons trade it back. Cirquest now caught on the rotational path here towards the spawn. Pacific Donga not even going to wait around at the site. He's just looking to go hunting, get this round over and done and dusted. The Deacons might be looking to go all the way. They're going to need, of course, a few more after this to get to that coveted 15. UNSW Raw, though, still standing their way. Cirquest, a few bullets. Pacific Donga still looking to beat. Git tries to take an off angle, but Cirquest will be taken out in the end. 7 to the board of Deakins, and yeah, the run's more than doable because the economy is still not quite there for the UNSW Raw side.
Just disappointed Pacific didn't pull out the Zeus, honestly. Yep. Definitely not impossible here for the Deakins. Again, they're certainly showing that they can get themselves back into things. They certainly are showing a fair bit of strength, like a bit of a rejuvenation, if you will, of their abilities, coming back into it, having broken that round streak from UNSW, starting to really show what they're capable of. But WF going to be finding that opening pick, Cirquest to help, and that is the UNSW we've seen so far in their CT half.
Yeah, that's the power of the mollies there towards Banana. You can see it just either forces a flight or fight mentality out of the Deakins, and unfortunately, they will be dropped. out of the air in that round. And of course, Noir and Malcolm being taken early on. So what you want to see. Dirty. Haven't quite seen the performance we saw on Dust from him, but we're going to need to see it show up here. 3 players left for the Deakins side, looking to rotate over towards A. Smoke comes out the balcony. Push comes towards middle.
Oh.
Beautiful isolation there on the WF. Caught over peeking. Shot the start from Dirty. Deakins looking to pose themselves towards B here with towards A with 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, clock definitely running down here. UNSW Raw just have to wait it out, just have to hold it out. This push coming through might be made a little bit more difficult, especially by Dirty pushing around from that arch side now. But make a pinch move into the side. We'll be able to take out Viridian. Gibbs will trade, and then some finds a second, but not the third, to end the map. Now, all down across, 14 HP. He's got to find both of these kills to keep the Deakins in it. Otherwise, we're going to be heading straight over to Nuke. It's going to be quite the challenge, quite the burden placed on him. To use his only smoke, thrown it out over towards Moto, but 2 players instead pushing behind on Diggity Cross, having an idea where they could be. Finds one head, looks to tap the second, Cirquest gonna go down as well, and that is gonna be an absolutely massive clutch from Cross. Oh my god, keeping him in it with the positioning and the timing and the spray ringing through time and time again. That is gonna be the Deakins holding on for dear life.
Yeah, the pressure couldn't have been higher in that round. Of course, it was do or die. Deakins staring down the barrel of a shotgun, but you saw Cross was able to turn it into the face of Raw and take 2 at that close proximity behind the box. Deakins now with a fighting chance, reinvigorated after that clutch from Cross. Pacific Donger again, aggressive play towards A. Doesn't want to be overstepping though, doesn't want to give away that AK. Over to UNSW, Raw, all stacked up now towards Banana. Just Pacific Donger, got a bit of info, a bit of util early on. So now the hit comes to be here. Double stack towards this second orange here, but the Molly's going to come out. Brevin with a beautiful shot to start it, but trade Molly kill for Cross. And do they expect the second now in this corner? Cirquest has to be checked for the moment. You need to check your corners when you're entering into the site. Cross gonna be fallen victim. Dirty now the last player left. 2 players to peek from the spawn side. He's been half tagged with a shot through the smoke. Trades out the AK. Viridian and WF now v Dirty. UNSW still have the chance to close it.
What a way to do it as well if they can do it with these pistols. Dirty finding himself in a very similar situation to his teammate Cross in the previous round in this 2 versus 1, having to get that bomb plant down, but having no idea where these players will swing from. Viridian's just going to go for it, land that fatal shot, and that is going to be that. UNSW Raw taking out map number 2, and what a way to do it, Tony.
That was a crazy game there coming out, and a crazy bounce back after what we saw on Dust 2. The Royal, they're able to do it a little bit better there on Inferno, and of course, now they take us all the way to Nuke, what we wanted to see, Tuesdays, and we will get to see it here, our 3rd and final map of the series.
Yeah, absolutely super keen for Nuke. This should be quite the interesting one. We're going to take a very quick break while we wait for that one to get started, so don't go anywhere. We're going to have plenty more Counter-Strike action right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the AEL University League playoffs for CSGO. We've just seen quite the interesting comeback in map number 2 from the UNSW Raw, taking it 1-1 against the Deakins. Very interesting stuff coming out. So, Tony, what do you think of that matchup?
I was not expecting that. The Raw dug deep there for that second map. Inferno, of course, normally one we see heavily CT oriented, but it appears the T side's just a little bit better here for the Raw on that map. And well, going down to the wire, we saw the makings of a comeback there from the Deakins. Of course, a very good clutch to come out from Cross, but overall not quite able to get it across the line. And a 16 scoreline there on Inferno for the side, and that's why we're of course now to Nuke here. And this is going to be an interesting map. I'm not quite sure who gets the side pick here. I'll have to double check. It is, I believe they're actually going to be playing out the knife round for the side.
Yeah, I believe that's how it will work for the best of 3. Love to see third maps, Tony. Love to see series so close like this. We certainly love to see it on Nuke, which has been quite the interesting decider map in these best of 3 series. But you know what else we love to see? We love to see our lovely, lovely sponsors. Tony, could you give us a quick reminder of who we should be thanking for supporting tonight's broadcast?
Yeah, of course, we've got to thank our lovely presenting partner, Chatime, with the freshest iced tea in the business. Of course, AOC, our global leader in monitor display technology, more than 50 years experience delivering exceptional viewing experience worldwide. And of course, Indomie, keeping yourself fed with delicious mee goreng. Check yourself and collect yourself some at your local store today. And as well, RIG, what it takes to win. We saw, of course, the side of UNSW Raw have what it takes to win that second map and take us to this third. They dug deep. Now they're going to have to look to take it across the line here against the side of Deakins. But RIG, they developed the finest of headsets with superior audio, of course, for competitive gamers or competitive streamers alike. Join the RIG team today and enhance your gaming experience.
Absolutely, got to show some love to Chatime, AOC, Indomie, and RIG for, you know, supporting the stream, supporting some local Counter-Strike, supporting some uni players in getting things all sorted. Speaking of things getting all sorted, we are going to be getting into this matchup soon. We did just see a little bit of a delay, once again, with CircWest, something happening at the start of the map, but now that I think everything is sorted, once GoTV delay catches up, we should be getting pretty well right back into it. So, not going to be dropping that momentum too harshly. So, 9 out of 10 players I can see currently in the server. I'll just quickly show you some of these duels coming out. There you go. Swap the scene over nice and neatly. But very keen to see how Nuke gets played out, of course. Because, again, both of these teams, you know, having their picks in, having that kind of advantage as far as being able to just go forth and, you know, show their mastery of the maps there, particularly UNSW on Inferno showing up quite a lot. It's going to be very interesting to see how both of these teams will go on a map like Nuke. But I want to know, chat, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch watching this, I want you to type in the chat, who do you think is going to take out this third and final map? I'm very excited to see how this goes. Bonus points as well for predicting the scoreline. If anyone types in a quadruple OT score, I will ask BK to ban you, of course. But yeah, very keen to see how this one goes, Tony.
Yeah, Nuke's, I guess, one of the maps we haven't actually get to see all too much here in the Uni League. One of these more strat-heavy maps, you could say. And, you know, for both of these teams, I feel they've got the makings of this strat-heavy style. Of course, Pacific Donga for the side of the Deakins has been doing absolute work, to say the least, as well. Of course, for the side of the Raw, they've got Viridian. They've got, of course, CircWest to keep them well up to date with some of the top level competition and what strats they normally like to run on a map like Nuke.
Yeah, definitely right. Just having, you know, all that come through, because again, look, we touched on it earlier, but just having these kind of players that have been playing at this top level, but also some newer up-and-coming talent from some more of the amateur league side of things, just that kind of mix that we see in these university leagues, where it's not really something that we see too often. Get to see a lot of that kind of passing down of the knowledge and, you know, people in various sectors and various divisions of the OC circuit working together to, you know, form these mixed teams and represent their university for a bit of fun, a bit of a prize pool on the line as well. Always some good fun. Always really nice to see. And, you know, if you're at university, if you're studying up and you're not, you know, enrolled in a team for this season, well, you should definitely consider having a look when the next season opens up, because it's a lot of fun. Let me tell you. Played this for myself for a few years. Getting in some results with my guys at QUT, some of my mates, and it's always fun getting in a team with people, and you know, it's such a fun experience being able to just have those official matches to fight for. Something very different to playing your face at your matchmaking, and so give it a try. Make sure to follow the AEL on all social media platforms, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, on Twitch here at twitch.tv/AEL Uni and twitch.tv/AEL Uni 2, and on Twitter as well to find out when registration start up. I think there's also a Discord as well, full of announcements. So be sure to hop in. Be sure to come join the next season, because we need more players to cast always. We always need some more up-and-coming Counter-Strike. Need some more content, of course, so why not be part of it?
I've also just received word from Forvid. He's typed in the server. He's let me know that's 2 syllables. So my apologies to Forvid. It is, of course, just 2 syllables there. And hopefully it's very hard to tell just looking at these names. Of course, a few of these I haven't seen all too much recently, and you know, it's always hard to tell how an alias is pronounced just looking at it alone.
Yeah, definitely the case. I feel like honestly, one of these days we're gonna just have to see tournaments like this have not only just an alias registration, but a field to put down your pronunciation for the poor casters.
Syllable by syllable, yeah.
BK, get on that for next season. You know? No, always fun. No, the always fun part is when you get players who have something stupid as their Steam name and you don't know what to call them. And you don't know who's who.
That guy.
That guy.
Terrorist player.
CT guy. Player. I've had some people butcher my alias though, so I completely get it, how it feels. I completely understand that. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to be going straight into the knife round, so no more filler. You don't have to bear us trying to keep you entertained for longer. We've got some Counter-Strike to talk over. It's going to be starting with this knife round. Unlike the previous ones, this is not determined by the veto, so whoever gets this will get their side of choice. And yeah, score 1-1. It's all down to this map, Tony.
Yeah, and I feel like this knife is actually more than necessary to win for both of these sides. I believe, as you can see, the Raw will be picking it up. Forvin and Gibbs, the 2 to find the backstabs in the end. And, you know, CT more than a side that some of these teams want to pick, but maybe the Raw start on this T side and really amp the pressure on early and then take it over to that CT to take it across the line.
Pretty much could be the case. We'll see how that comes forward as UNSW make their decision. I get the feeling maybe a CT side start will be what they go with, but wouldn't entirely surprise me to see the other option as well, because even if you feel like you might do better on your CT side, kind of having that ace up your sleeve to be able to switch over to that after playing out your worst side first sometimes might be the right call to make. But look, in this case, realistically, not the way things are going to go out. We're going to see the UNSW Raw swapping over to the CT side. We're going to be kicking things off again, 1-1. This is where things are going to be starting up, firing up. If you're just joining us, well, now is the perfect time. Basically becomes a best of 1 at this point.
Yeah, it's really all down to this, and as you said, USW Raw going to be starting at the CT side, going to be investing in early kit here for Cirquest, Smoke as well, double flash for Viridian. Deakins, they've invested a heavy amount of util because they're straight on that A site and completely blinded up the side of UNSW Raw. Plant down and post plant already. That's the quickest site take to A I've ever seen.
Yeah, very much so the case, just getting onto that side. incredibly quickly. WF going to be just flicking his crosshair back onto that right side to try and hold it against Cross. Gibbs going to be just pushing forward and taking it for him, though. Swinging back around behind him. We'll be able to find 3. And SirQuest will be able to help him out as well with that final kill there. Really swift retake coming forward from UNSW Raw.
That flawless too, not losing anyone there, and you can see very nice taps to come out from Gibbs. He's been a player to watch for, a bit of an unsung hero for the Raw, I have to say. Gibbs has been hitting some very impressive shots with the pistols and as well the rifles. UNSW Raw picking that round up means MP9 straight into their arsenal. M4 as well for Gibbs, because you know, he got himself a heavy amount of kills, so he's got himself a heavy amount of cash, and he's looking to invest it straight away here at AK from Dirty. The rest with Deagles here for Deakins. Might be looking to contest a bit of mid-control here.
Might be trying to see whatever they can do. Try and get through this one. Deakins going for that full buy with that AK and these Deagles, and going to be trying to work a bit of a default split. Making their way up over through outers, getting a bit of damage onto Viridian, who does fall back over through Secret and just run away. Pacific, running a quick pop flash over into Annex. That will make its way onto the other side. We're Dirty, able to pick up a kill onto SirQuest, swinging from the top of heaven.
You can see Deakins heavily stacked outside this A site, and might be able to go for it. Viridian going for the long-range MP9 shots, but that's going to be Pacific Dong. AK out in full force for Evan. Or Forvet, sorry. Taking out Noir. Going to be Gibbs taking out Malkin, and it's just left to Pacific Dong. He does have his AK and a few low HP bars on the side of the Raw, but going to be picking it up. AK saved, M4 picked up. Raw collecting themselves another round here.
Yeah, Raw looking to try and tear through this as much as possible. Get that early momentum up strong. Seeing a very unconventional MP5 buy from SirQuest into this. Quick highlight. Very interesting to see how that's going to go. Not something that we see conventionally picked up. Same with the MP7, which it replaces in the weapon slot. So not really the class of SMG that we see most often, especially when you've got the MP9 available to purchase on that CT side or the MAC-10 on the T side. But hey, look, we love to see the breaking of convention. We love to see different metas. Let's see if it gets put to some use. Forvin will be able to find that kill onto Pacific Donga on outers. However, Gibbs also taking that M4 and putting it to good use with double. Viridian with the spray down as well from Garage. And UNSW Raw will be able to clean up very nicely, getting themselves very much so warmed up from that last map.
Yeah, they're warm, they're hot, they're ready to go here, Raw. Starting it off with 3 rounds in a row here, the CT side. Of course, not more could you want than a 3 round at start. We saw the Deakins do it on Dust. Now seeing the Raw do it here in our last map. Early HE comes out from WF, but it's well timed. Actually going to land on the cross, taking the half points of HP. He's going to have to back off for the moment. WF going to be holding close, but going to be taken out by Noor. Checks the corner. Deakins now have an entry into this B site. They might look to plant this bomb down, but they still play double door here.
Malkin planning it safe and will not be stopped by Viridian opening up that door. Instead, a smoke to pop in front of it. Quick flash up over towards the window where Viridian will be looking to make his reapproach. Cross watching it will break the glass and find a little bit of damage on to Viridian. Turn around the corner. Get taken out by SirQuest, putting that MP9 or that MP5 to good use, rather. Gibbs and Viridian finding kills each, but Noir looking to try and do whatever he can. Now taken out, it's all onto Pacific Donga. Gibbs going to be just holding that bomb and sticking it with a kit, but he will be denied the defuse. Bomb ticking away, no time left, and Pacific will be able to find the second kill as well, even if he does go down. That's a round taken by Deakins to kick things off for them.
That's a way to kick it off for Deakins there, and pause immediately called here. Maybe technical issues yet again plague the Deakins side, but they pick up themselves a first, and well, they stop the Raw from going almost flawless to start this one off. You can see only 3 straight to kick off this first half. Deakins a beautiful hold there, I have to say. Pacific Donga just playing absolute precise there with the trigger discipline. Doesn't shoot the player until he hears him tap the bomb. And that is why Deakins able to pick up a round. With experience like that under your belt, you're more than assuredly finding a few T rounds here for the side of Deakins. The Raw, though, as we said, straight back to the bye. Going to be an all-out here for Verdun AUG, this time for WF.
Yeah, all out for WF. Definitely trying to, again, just pull out that unconventional choice. Although, a little bit more conventional as of late. We've been seeing a bunch of people in the pro scene just pick up that AUG and consider it a viable option. I'd recommend giving it a go if you haven't already. It's a pretty good gun. Definitely feels like one of the strongest you can get on the CT side. So WF scoped player getting himself with that one. Orvint not buying yet. Still a bit indecisive. Using this this quick pause to really ponder his choices in terms of weaponry. Not exactly sure what the issue is, but hopefully, like the previous tech pauses, we'll be able to get back into things rather shortly. Bear with us, folks. We'll be getting back into it very soon, and we'll have plenty more Counter-Strike action to come back when we are unpaused again. But yeah, so far been some very interesting stuff. Some very close matches, or some very close maps up to this point. Get the feeling this one's going to be even closer, honestly, Tony.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way. If Deakins can, inch out these next few rounds, then it could feel definitely like a reminiscence of Dust 2 and especially Inferno to start off. Of course, on that map was pretty close. But at the moment, Deakins still not the most stable of economy, even after winning that 1v2 from Pacific Donga. They still don't quite have the money to bring out too many AEKs here. I believe Mousen might look to go for an SMG cross as well, only at that 3.3k kind of mark. And it'll be interesting to see once we see this pause go away, what Deakins opt to purchase here. But for the Raw, they're, a bit of hard on the sleeve here. They're going straight away for those 3 M4s. Util, very good as well. WF, of course, a limited amount, but still could look to put in work with that AUG. But 10 kills for Gib here to start it off. Gibbs, of course, very strong start to this third map. We saw him really start to pick up the pace on Inferno, and, well, he's delivering on this map as well, it would seem, as we see another pause come out here, this time from the Raw.
BK saying in chat, time for 30-minute tech pause.
Could be that way, could be that way.
Like, if I have to go through another one of those, oh boy, I would hate that. Well, I would have to hope that with another one of those, that this would be the best integrated game we'd ever seen. Just waiting on this one to get unpaused though, but yeah, did deal with a much longer pause with a previous cast, which waiting 30 minutes for everything to get back in order. Honestly, after putting through this one, it really doesn't make these tech pauses feel like that long at all, Tony. I have to say, it really just puts everything back into perspective for you. It's an experience.
Yeah, you get to take a step back and really analyze it, but of course, we're straight back into it. As you can see, the unpause come in. Deakins, the morale might still be a little bit low. Of course, they did take that last round off the 1v2 from Pacific Donga, but, there's been a little bit of a pause time since then, and, the Raw, they might have needed that to really regather themselves as a whole, and Deakins are looking to wrap straight down through the tunnel here. Challenge onto Viridian's AWP, but he's going to find the first second onto Dirty, holding the angle, not quite find Noir. What will be taking it? Noir takes 2, actually. WF taken. And this is a B site, might be overwhelmed here by the side of the Deakins.
Yeah, Deakins going to be taking that B site and able to get that safe plant down, but Noir, whichever side he swings, we'll have to deal with Surquest just hard watching that position. We'll also have to deal with Gibbs just pushing up behind him. Cross will trade, but Surquest to make his way forward. Now in the 2 versus 1. We'll just have to look below him. We'll spot it, but has no idea where Pacific Donga is going to be. Donga will hear the footsteps. Likewise, Surquest hearing the door will know his position, but because he's closed it, will make things more difficult. Surquest letting go of the bomb there. Not quite the right option. Would have stuck it, but Donga. Oh no, did he just get caught on the door?
Yeah, I believe so. Cirquest,
no.
that's unfortunate there. He could have stuck it. He could have really went for it. The kit was on the floor too. He caught that one a little bit late, and Pacific Donga. And again, another clutch, this time from the same position. And Deakins, they're going to be thanking their lucky stars Pacific Donga's in tonight, because he has shown up massive the 2 rounds they needed here on Nuke. You can see that's put Raw in a rough state. They only have Deagle's M4 saved by Cirquest, and this is Deakins really now starting to play with the momentum that Raw found in the last map and starting to dwindle here in this third one.
Ooh, that's a sharp shot to kick things off from WF though. A lot to fall down with a quick dig shot. Viridian looking to try and find a bit more. Gets the body shot on to Dirty to tag him down to 54. But not going to be anything more fatal. Door stuck, yep, absolutely right. But the door wasn't stuck, just the doorway. Oh, that's... I'm still hung up on that. That was so unfortunate. I'd be so mad if that happened to me. Dirty will be able to find another heavy tag onto Viridian City, going down to 17 HP as Cirquest just holds around in lobby and does spot the cross of Donga. No kill to come out, however.
You can see Raw holding very patiently. You can see the Deakins starting to maybe over-aggress. As they start to come up through. Forvent going to be taking another second. Oh my god, a third and a fourth. Forvent. That's some impressive Deagle display. And that is another round on the board for the Raw. Forvent out of nowhere with the 4K. Deakins stopped dead in their tracks on the entry into that A site, and it's all to the credit of Forvent. 4th round on the board for the Raw, still only 2 here for the Deakins, and now they're stuck to pistols. This is Raw. Bounced back and looking to maybe take the aggression themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely quite something, but Cross looking to make some dig shots of his own! Oh my, that flick on a Cirquest, the turnaround, that is so unbelievably sharp. Dirty also pushing up very close and personal into Garage, will be able to pick up that AWP, but doesn't hold it for very long. As Gibbs makes the frag there, will go for some more as his teammate finds one as well. Down on to a 2-on-2. Pacific Donga still playing in the Garage though, will have that impact. Now to Gibbs, finds one. He finds the next. He's got the angle, but he has to reload. Doesn't matter. Pistol will do it. Oh my.
Oh my god. Gibbs has been a superhero in this last map so far. 15-2. Delivering that 1v2 in the hands of UNSW. Raw. Keeping Deakins down early on is what Raw did in that last map. You saw Inferno was very close to start it, and then the Raw really started to pick the pace up, and it was such a commanding first half from them. And we're going to do it here on Nuke. Of course, C buff full in effect, and it's a bit of a miss molly there from Cirquest, but we look away. We didn't see. We avert our eyes. Molly comes out towards the red box, but Dirty takes the fight in it. He's going to be walking through it. He's going to win it out. Trade from WF, but Deakins set down pace towards this B site. Another from Dirty on the entry, and Deakins, they don't have all too many members down at this B site.
Dirty literally just holding out his movement key and just swinging so aggressively. That's so nice. Unfortunate for Cirquest having that Molotov get blocked, but at the very least, he's able to get himself back in with a kill there. Does get traded, however, leaving it all down to WF. Does have a bit of util. Flash, smoke, molly, a kit as well to go alongside that 87 HP and that M4. He doesn't have his teammates. All 4 of them dead. In this 1 versus 3 where he has no idea, no info really. He has an idea that one of them could be on the site at the very least after hearing that spray, but definitely won't know the Dirty's backed off over to the boards at that late position, and won't anticipate Malkin just holding that angle on to Heaven. Will get surprised by it, taken out. Deakins will be able to take themselves to round number 3.
That's a good headshot line being found there. UNSW Raw, that's an unfortunate round to drop, because that's eco for them. Deakins, now again a fighting chance, we keep saying it. It bounces back and forth. It's been round going 2 in tow here. Gibbs playing close with the Deagle this time, going to be taking cross double. This time it's not the Deagle, it's the 8K coming in full effects here for the Deakins side. Cirquest trying to get his Deagle working and online, trying to find one onto Pacific Donga, but the Molly stops them from pushing for the moment. Viridian drops through the vent, will be taken out by Cross. Cirquest finally finding Pacific Donga, picks up that AK, gives it over to his teammates, but this retake, probably not more than possible. Forbit just going to be probably saving and keeping hold of that AK.
Yeah, probably the right call to make at this point. No armor, no util to go for it, and just would be absolutely impossible to get in with the aggressive angles that are being played by the Deakins. Able to just completely overwhelm, get into that site. He's able to find any exit frags at the very least, could be something, but by the looks of it, he will not. No one really gonna face. So that's going to be that 5-4 as UNSW still just hold the advantage, but not by too much. Economic advantage going the other way, however, as Deakins able to pull some guns away and have plenty left in their bank accounts to buy some more, including an AWP now in the hands of Dirty. And we've seen what he's been able to do with the AWP, especially on Dust 2, where he dropped, I think it was 32, 33 frags, something to that effect. Let's see if he's able to do anything here.
Malkin, going to start it off. Beautiful shot on the Gibbs. Now, Deakins, they go straight down through the tunnel, straight towards the outside, and going to be up to WF. Noir going to be trading one onto Viridian. Forward trades it back, though. WF, as I said, needs to put 5-7 to work, but it's not going to be able to do so. Malkin's just got too many bullets. Cirquest has a few in his chamber, 2 with the Deagle before falling up on the rafter. Dirty takes him out the AWP, plants the bomb down 2v1 for Forvin. He does have a flash, no kit, unfortunately. UNSW Raw just on a bit of an eco in this one, but this is more than enough to do in an eco. If he steals away 1 kill, this is more than doable. Just needs to isolate the duels. Thinks about it, but is going to be thinking it. Not going to be backing off, and gives over the round to Deakins.
Very much so. I mean, that is a very difficult site to retake, especially when you have no clue where these players are playing. It's not easy. Having not really much util. Yeah, that definitely is the right decision there. Also no kit, so kind of makes sense, even if it's a 2-on-1. If there's not a high chance of being able to get round, then why throw away your gun, right? Especially when you've now got the money to drop a teammate, which Orvin has just done. Smart decisions to be made as UNSW get themselves up for another buy round. 5-5 now as Deakins have tied things up.
They have tied it all up. 5-5 here on Nuke. Not the way we're expecting this game to go after what we saw from Inferno. Maybe expecting Raw to come out with a bit of momentum in their hands, but so Deakins, they've been able to match it themselves. Mouse and or Malkin. Looking to peek Outlas here against Viridian, but that's an AWP versus an AK. Malkin has spotted him on the cross, but so is Viridian, trying to take this duel in a very pixel-tight angle. Both players just going to be backing off for the moment, though Malkin does decide to aggress towards the red box a little bit more.
There we go. I'm just going to be holding on to that angle in radio, where Noir will be just trying to clear angles, and headshot angle will be one. He checks, manages to get the shot off. Re-swing would come through from hell, but it is smoked, enabling safe passage around. But Forvin, finding himself a nice pick, does bring it down to 4-on-3. Man advantage now lying the way of UNSW Raw. Quick smokes to go forward onto this B side, as now the Deakins side make their way forward. No CTs en route to immediately respond, other than Viridian now opening up that door. But he will have to back away after being shot down to 17 HP, just getting away with his life. And now that bomb will go down, planted nice and open. Gibbs will be able to find one back, though.
Gibbs has been on point with his reaction time this game. Pacific Donga, oh my god, we talk about it and it happens. Gibbs just putting the story pieces together in this round for the retake for the Raw, and Forbit, oh sorry, it's Viridian to take that round. Forbit going to be getting the defuse. 6 on the board for the Raw. Very doable there, of course. A few players low HP for Deakins, and in the end going to be falling by the wayside. They still have money for the Deakins side, but Raw, that's a much needed one on their board here. 6-5 to start off Nuke here. Of course, CC, you find that 8, you find that 7. That's what we're really after right now. And well, Raw, they get into it. 6, much needed scoreline to start. Deakins, though, straight back into it, and still an even situation to say the least.
Dirty looking to try and get an opening frag. We'll be able to get it onto WF. It will go over towards B as Cirquest tries to stop it, but will get shut down by Noir. Smokes to go forward as Deakins make their way around. There's one thing to point out really quick as well. Tony, look at your scoreboard. Look at Gibbs, 18-5 right now, 127 ADR. I was going to say it at the start of the round, but just worth pointing out now anyway. Absolutely going so insane, especially only 12 rounds in. Looking to hit some more, he will add to his score even further.
Yeah, that's a beautiful flick, and following up with another Viridian. Spots out Pacific towards the ramp. This is a double retake. I think the bomb is pretty far gone at this stage, but they're looking to take it here. Dirty, a double with the shots, but the smoke is on the kit. It's been tapped. Forvin's got it, but Dirty able to find it through the smoke.
Oh my
god. Taps and a 4K. Oh my god, indeed. Dirty gone massive when almost Raw retaked it there.
You know, I feel like Dirty held tab as well and saw Gibbs on top. Maybe that was a bit of motivation, having dropped so many kills in map number 1. Saying, I need to do that again. I need to play like that. So aggressive with the AWP. The way he was able to find those kills. Absolutely stunning stuff. And getting that P250 headshot to end it all out as well. Forvint will find an opener onto Noir. However, be able to retreat back. Not getting traded out. Very nice opener for UNSW.
Yeah, that's the rounds they want to be taking. It's so many that have come close to these retakes there. That last one, very down to the wire, but for the moment, early pick and nothing else. Deakins have backed off completely from the A site, and they're looking to go towards outers. Malkin, good spot here to wrap the spawn. Does have the bomb though, so probably doesn't want to over-aggress all too much. Pacific Dong here to help him out. Deakins just taking a ton of map control. UNSW are all more than happy to give it to them. Maybe look at the peek here forward. Going through the hut. Another play going through the squeaky door. It's Viridian. The roll might be looking to hold this A side. It's a split coming out from Deakins.
Viridian looking to find that shot, but will only be able to get a little bit of damage. Forvin will be the one up close who will be able to deny a bomb plant, but won't be able to stay up for far longer. Dirty getting aggressive with the no-scope on WF. Cirquest will trade, however. Still favoring UNSW 3-2 as far as players go, but now Deakins playing this post-plant position might be able to try and do something. Cross getting shut down, however, makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, Gibbs has been absolutely on point, and as we can see on the score total, just round after round, making a massive amount of impact. Pacific Dong are going to be peeking from the hut, takes out 2, leaves it now to Superhero Gib. Molly comes out to deny any more peeking, does some damage. Pacific Donga now needs to wrap around completely. No kit for Gibbs, he's going to have to stick it fully. Pacific Donga is just going to be spraying on. He's got so many bullets in the chamber, but none of them going to land. 3 seconds, another smoke kill. This time from Pacific Donga in the 1v1 puts Deakins in a 1-round lead, 7-6.
God, what a clutch from Donga. Absolutely massive stuff there. I think that was a 3v1. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, 3v1. Being able to just close that out so nicely there. But definitely saved by the fact that that last player, Gibbs, didn't have a kit. So even still, huge round for Deakins now to pull ahead once more. Break the tie in their favor. And also break UNSW's economy up. Gibbs go down as Deakins make their way out through outside. Cirquest, a sharp trade.
Oh, WF as well. Viridian maybe looking to get into it and will be able to do it. Takes 2. Oh my god, they just put pedal to the metal, and it seems to be all coming up in flames here for Deakins. Now Dirty, the only member left to do it. Going to find one on the Cirquest, but needs to be cautious. WF in this clothesline, has heard the footsteps. He just needs to wait for the sound cue. He just needs to wait for Dirty to walk to him because WF has such a good angle. But Dirty's actually going to take him out. 1v1 here, Viridian versus Dirty. And again, Viridian's got a good angle, but Dirty just seems to be power picking, pulls out the nade, and that's a catastrophic mistake to make in the face of UNSW. Raw, they pick it up 7-7. We go our last round of the half, and it's an even scoreline across the board. UNSW are deadly with these pistols, but so are Deakins.
Beautiful timing on that swing as well from Viridian. Just so unfortunate there for Dirty, being caught with the nade out. That is just how Counter-Strike is sometimes, you know? Sometimes you just don't know what your opponents are going to do. You pull a nade out, boom, you're dead. You have no way of fighting it. Viridian, Gibbs find openers and stop Deakins, or try to anyway, from heading down to Secret. Forvin will be on the other side of that. Find another kill onto Dirty. Cross will just hold back, but will get shut down as well. Donga makes his way out Squeaky, but won't be able to do anything with it, as he's got an opponent on the other side, and well, that will be that. Half sealed 8-7, as UNSW just barely pull ahead to take the lead. But what a close half that was, Tony.
Yeah, it was absolutely back and forth affair. You can see it go 2 rounds to end that. It's only a streak of 2, only a streak of 3. Raw, not quite able to find the 4 that they probably wanted to start that first half off. But well, now sides have swapped. Sides have swapped. Deakins now to the CT side. Raw to the T. And you can see a heavy amount of ramp progression. No one really here to stop it from the side of Deakins. Pacific Dollar has dropped down to the vent here. Malkin up on the rafter, actually able to trade 1-for-1 with Forvin. And this is Deakins coming into it, but so many shots are being landed by the Raw.
Oh, WF just pushing through so aggressively, taking even more picks. Donga will finally trade it and try and go for some more. Meanwhile, Cross being spotted trying to cross over from hell. Now Donga left in a 1v3. He's got the armor, he's got the USP, but only 37 HP. And no knowledge of where this bomb is going to go, because there's still room to go either way. This time, it will be down towards B, as Cirquest will complete the vent drop and make it happen. Get that down. Donga also picking up the kit over on ramp. A bomb will go down, however. Smoke to go out as well, which will limit the area in which he can swing from. And, well, Cirquest just holding that angle alongside Viridian, leaving him to swing, to have to fight 2 players at once. And, well, that doesn't really end well.
Yeah, it wouldn't really end well. Too many players to deal with in Deakins. They're going to be dropping that round. Raw now, first to start it off, Mac 10s across the board. Galil's straight to those kind of cash grab weapons, trying to get as much money on their board as soon as possible. And that's where the rounds have really been tested here too, because the economy has been crazy back and forth rounds. So many players falling victim to crazy pushes, and the money's really where your grit starts to be tested in some of these rounds, especially when it goes later.
Yeah, definitely not wrong in the slightest, Tony. Definitely is going to be a bit of a test here, but Dirty also trying to test the Raw here, finding quite the heavy tag onto Cirquest, but not able to get the double dink out. That helmet going to save Cirquest's life in this round. Viridian going to be pushing up very closely. Meanwhile, over towards Lobby. Will find 2, but ultimately does get taken out, giving a Mac 10 the way of Deakins. Still not exactly the biggest thing to find for them, though, after all being an SMG. So, not particularly game-changing, but still, whatever damage they're able to get done, of course, will help out. Bomb just going to be ticking away as Deakins, well, just have to hold out for any exit frags that they can get at this point.
Yeah, Deakins just trying to steal away guns, and we've seen them do it successfully in a few rounds. Keep, of course, the Raw in check, but they give this round over to Raw, and this is probably not the great circumstance you want to be in, especially CT side 10-7, and Dirty not even going to be able to save that Mac 10. It falls. UNSW Raw find themselves a conclusion in that one. Deakins now, though, finally to a bye. Orp going to be out for Dirty, but UNSW Raw are in the exact same position of, despite, you know, a few maybe AKs that they would like to be there but aren't, but they've still got enough the pieces are there, and looking to put them in to work in round number 18 here. Early util being tossed out for both sides. That's an interesting thing to point at. Both these teams very prominent on their util lineups.
Oh yeah, very much so. Both of these teams very prepared with that. Of course, kind of expected, you know, having some of these more experienced players in the server, battling it out as well. Dirty going to be able to try and shut this push down, finding 2 kills. Cross will find 1 as well, leaving it down to Viridian and Cirquest. Noir will be able to take one of those players out. Cirquest going down. Viridian, 33 HP, no util left to try and make it work. Just having to walk out hard, do whatever he can, but will get taken out from that angle up top. That is going to be that. Deakins taking 1 back, 10-8, keeping things nice and close.
Yeah, Deakins, as soon as they give away a few too many rounds, they start to really hit the mental reset. They identify what they need to do in a few of those rounds, and well, they get it done. AK is out for Cirquest Gibbs, and that's what you want to see. AK out for one of the most crazy stats we've seen so far. It's Gib, 27-9. Here, we didn't even see that performance from, I believe it was Dirty with a 30 in the first map, and, you know, Nor not far behind. This is Gibbs doing absolute work in this third and final map. An average damage per round of 120. Very, very nice to see, and that's probably why Raw at a stat line like this. It's all to the credit of Gibbs. Of course, a few individual plays being found here or there, but just the raw frag ability and the space being made by Gib alone has really been what Raw have been picking up on.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the Raw, once again, looking to burst out onto one of these sites as they get very close down here in Hunt, but Pacific will be on top of them and will be able to shut it down with the MP9. The perfect weapon for that position. Just the perfect weapon to get the job done. Spraying down, getting that kill reward as well. Really good stuff overall. But more importantly, 9 rounds now for Deakins as they look to tie things up and hit double digits in this next one. UNSW Raw just holding on to the Glocks with the exception of Gibbs, who now has a Deagle, and they're going to be taking these guns over towards Radio. But that nade, oh my god.
Oh, and just the crossfire too. Malkin, they're all ready. They're ready to go. Famous collects 3. Deakins collect that round in a blink of an eye. You blink and you'll miss it. It's 10-10. Now, Raw started this half off convincingly, but Deakins, they're right back into it. 3 straight to even up the scoreline. And, well, in terms of even as well, even weaponry out here, but not even util. Deakins don't quite have as many nades as... Oh, sorry. Raw don't have as many nades as the side of Deakins do.
Yeah, certainly not. Again, 10-10, and Deakins having all of that util certainly will make it a bit easier on them to just hold off any incoming push. It will certainly be exactly what they want, especially having still a Molotov left on Dirty, a bunch of HEs as well. Push going to come forward, however, from the Raw. Malkin playing the anti-flash position will ultimately be his demise as he gets shut out. Now the Raw taking that side completely, where Dirty, we see playing rather back on Radio. Might be able to get this kill on a Cirquest lurking around. There it will be, but that's still information nonetheless. Back to a 4-on-4. Cross and Noir making their way outside, where they'll join up with Pacific Donga to try and make this retake happen.
Yeah, it's a very rough situation to actually go for it, because you can see so many players of the Raw posted up in different angles. Viridian, of course, watching Outers. A few players watching towards Heaven, and of course, Gibbs just going to be spotting around the hut area. They do actually spot out Viridian. A little bit late, though. The round is already over. Some shots being pelted into a few. Pacific Donga's on this flank, too. This could be very, very good in finding this last one, and it will. Forward's taken. WF's able to keep his AK. Nobody else able to there, and that's the rounds you see Deakins really collect upon after the round does go the way of the opposition. Not many guns here for the side of Raw, despite the victory in that one.
Yeah, just losing all those AKs and being down to about an average of $3,800. Really ruling out those AKs unless you want very little utility. Gibbs only on flash as a result. and having to drop his teammate. But Dirty, meanwhile, he's got all he needs, and all he needs is really that AWP. He's going to hit some shots with it, get some openers, cross as well to help out. Gibbs, Sirquest now left to try and pick up the pieces, stitch things back together if they can. But it's going to be quite the difficult road ahead for them. Sirquest able to recover a Galil at the very least, trade up from the Mac-10. This duo going to make their way forward on that outers position. Pacific Donga just playing around Mini. He'll be able to down that bomb, take out Gibbs. Sirquest getting the trade, but his position now given up and having to face these 4 players at once pretty well. That is going to be that. Deakins once again tying it up 11-11.
Yeah, this is, again, as we expected to see. The Raw might be looking for a tactical pause here. You can see Deakins. I'll let them know that they can just pause. They don't need to type .tac. Just exclamation mark pause, I believe. And it's going to be a pause. UNSW Raw don't quite have the economy here. Deakins have mounted themselves a heavy amount. Nor's up to almost 10k here after buying. Cross at 8.8. Dirty at 10.8. Deakins, even though they lost and gave that 11 round over to the UNSW Raw, they still came out ahead. They took away so many guns. They made it expensive, and you saw that the firepower was lacking in that round, and that's the round Deakins really took to pace and knew that they could fight their opposition out in the open.
Yeah, not wrong in the slightest. Just really nice stuff overall from the Deakins in that. Just having that awareness to be able to realize, yeah, okay, let's just pull back. Let's just play for these exits. And they played so well around those exits as well. Just the positions that they held were so good. Completely shut down UNSW Raw. And really, ultimately, that's what kind of led to this situation where we're tied back up here. If they'd just, you know, gone for that retake and likely thrown away their guns and not been able to take any out of the UNSW side, then, well, we very well could be seeing 12-10 scoreline, where we're also facing maybe a bit of a different economic situation for Deakins, something like that. And instead, we're seeing quite the opposite. So, yeah, that call absolutely instrumental to where Deakins are now, having a very much so a fighting chance, if not more so, because, again, yeah, look at the UNSW economy. It's not good. Not good in the slightest. They've got themselves some upgraded pistols, but they're going to have to just sit this round out as far as buying goes.
And you maybe expect to see one of these vent drops we haven't quite seen from one of these T sides yet. Just straight 5 down the vent and try to get into B as soon as possible. It's more of an MM strat, but we've seen some teams opt to go for it on an eco. Of course, not really much you can do if you don't quite have the weaponry to bring against, of course, an AWP, a few AKs, and that A1S or Pacific Dong. And I have to say, Dirty has picked it back up after such a disappearance act in that second map. Of course, he's back. He's ready to frag. 22 kills on the board, but he's still not matching Gibbs. 27 kills. Gibbs is the kill leader in this game, to say the least, and he has been doing absolutely massive bits. 3Ks, and I want to see his headshot percentage really quick. We'll double check the statistics.
44% for Gibbs.
Oh my god. 44%, 464, 50 for Malkin. He's been tapping heads, but still to have above that 40% margin, very, very good in a game like this, especially against a very scary roster like the side of the Deakins.
Also, want to point out, look at Noir's utility damage compared to his team. He's been absolutely throwing, by the looks of it, a lot of Molotovs, a lot of HEs. Not seeing too many flashes come out from the side of the Deakins overall either, but we're seeing a fair few more from UNSW, particularly Viridian with 17 effective flashes coming forward. Again, a lot of players like that, where, you know, they get way more comfortable with the utility. You start to see those flash numbers going higher. You start to see more reliance on them. Makes a lot of sense, really, I suppose. Especially, you know, where we're seeing, like, some of these players, their backgrounds and things going into it. So, you know, just the different styles of how some players playing the game definitely, you know, changing things up a bit. But, we are going to see a quick disconnect from Donga, and I think in that he actually would have just lost his util and armor, so that is unfortunate. Gun on the ground, at least. So
yeah,
Don't know if we'll see a match medic from that or anything, but hopefully something.
I've just gotten an update too. Apparently, he's been playing on 60 hertz this entire time.
You're kidding.
They've just no Cross just literally typed Dong has been playing on 60 hertz whole series. Lol.
Don't tell me that means he was playing 60 hertz in the IEM 4 qualifier earlier.
Look, he might have been. He definitely might have been. And I was going to say, I don't know all too much about his performance over there, but it might be what has been the difference maker. Because, of course, we spoke very highly of Pacific Dong, and as we said, a very star-studded player in his own regard, making that amateur to pro run in almost 6 months. And, you know, he's definitely one of the players to look at in this server for Deakins, but you know, it's been more dirty. It's been more Cross, Noir, all doing the heavy hitting. Malkin, of course, very good on the supportive play. And well, we'll hope to see Pacific Donga come back quickly. I believe, you know, it's not too hard to change your hertz on your monitor. So hopefully we'll see him return shortly.
Yeah, back indeed. And that's got to feel a lot better because, you know, if you're a Counter-Strike player out there, avid CS player, and you've got yourself a 144 hertz monitor or had the experience of using one, having to go back to 60 hertz, it sucks, man. It's really bad. 60 hertz really bad in comparison. And you know, by the way, if you haven't got yourself a 144 hertz monitor,
AOC,
exactly, AOC Monitor's helping us out as well. Definitely go to them. And if you're looking for a headset, well, why not double up, go with an RIG headset? You know, they sound pretty good. They've been helping us as well. You're feeling a bit peckish. She gets some Indomie noodles. But maybe you're thirsty, Tony. Maybe you need some bubble tea. Maybe you need some Chatime.
Oh, I could always use some Chatime in my life. And, well, we could use some Counter-Strike in our life. We've, of course, been at a technical pause for a bit, but we're now looking to go back into it. It's all tied up, 11-11. Again, to reiterate, Raw don't have the economy to buy into this one, so it's just pistols to round number 23. Deakins can really start to put their foothold in this game and really start to close it out here if they're able to take these next few.
It'll be interesting to see how Donga plays as well from here. Now back to the full refresh rate of his monitor. Now having that smoother experience, but it's going to be on Malkin instead, who will provide quite the smooth spray down for Deakins, as we just see the push really come through from UNSW. Absolutely quick going forward. Well, how about that? Deakins just completely shutting him out. That is something.
That is definitely something. No, Raw gonna have to get back up on that horse and gallop their way back into this round. You can see a ton of util being dumped towards the outside. Smokes to cross here. Cirquest gonna be completely uncontested. Donga taken extremely low towards this quick door push, so he is gonna drop down the vent. Taking against it though. Tosses a smoke towards the outers. Just so much utility being dumped outers, and there's really not many players here in position for this kind of outers hold. Cirquest has snuck down through the stairs. Smoke comes out. Viridian able to pick up one on to cross through the door. Here's a good start here for the Raw now.
Yeah, now pushing through, but Pacific will try and stop them. Noir in a better position to do so. Popping up from the ladder, will land the spray transfer both onto heads, but Cirquest will be there for the trade. Now Dirty left having to 1v2 here, unaware of where any of these players are, but certainly looking in the right place at the right time as WF pushes up. Now his position very much revealed. Cirquest having to play around that bomb being dropped.
Oh,
just misses the timing as well on that outers position, but Cirquest swinging out and having his crosshair positioned in exactly the right angle. Absolutely nuts stuff there, being able to clutch that one back. Very nice attempt from Dirty, but not quite going to pull through.
yeah, and that's a much needed round for the Raw. As you said, their economy was a little bit shattered. It's still not the greatest here. UMP for Forvet. And no util here for Gibbs. This is still a rough situation. Deakins, as we said, economy sky high. Pacific Donga looking to go for a peek early on. Forced to back off yet again. Only does some good stopping power here though for the Deakins side, and at the moment. They've actually invested for an outside hold this time. They've got the AWP posted up on the stair line. 3 posted up over to A. Raw. Can't really look to walk to it. You're going to be looking to walk to Nor over towards this ramp side.
Yeah, quick flash out as they go for the peak. On the other side will be Noir looking to try and get a spray down if possible with this M4, but will only be good for that one. Still an even trade, so only thing given up really just being enabling that passage to that B site, although Cross will deny it. Mapkin as well getting a kill over as that squeaky door opens up above. Now Viridian, Forvint to get their way back into it, trying to take out Malkin, but he will swing back onto Viridian. Forvint will try and stick this bomb plant, giving up his position, and he'll actually get it, but it's going to be difficult to hold on to it. Dirty just watching the peak. Comes through exactly as you'd expect it to. Deakins regaining the advantage here, 13-12, but even still, such a close game all up. This really can still go either way now. UNSW Raw, however, wishing they had a little bit more money to work with in doing so.
Yeah, they really want anything that they can muster here. Tech 9, of course, out for forward. We've seen some run and gun from that on the side of Raw previously on the last map. The Deakins are still, of course, full 5, full util, full everything. And everything to stop Raw in this round. HG is good, does some damage on the Forvint, and the spray is also going to take him extremely low. Flash toss, Cross. Going to be holding the Cross there through the squeak door, drops another smoke on, and this is just Raw bleeding out these rounds, of course. Gibbs, good shot, trades out Dirty. Noir going to have to back off for the moment. Malcolm going to be dropping off the heaven position. Spots that Surquest, holds it on the Gibbs too, and he spots the last. Good discipline spray there from Malcolm. And 14 rounds go. Deakins getting scarily close to that 15, getting scarily close to the 16, and closing the series here on our final map. Raw, they still have a gun round in them. They still have the money to invest, but this is really do or die. They drop this, they're back to an Eco, and Deakins, I more than would assume, would look to take it.
Yeah, but both of these teams, Deakins on 14, UNSW on 12, both of them very close to 15. And I have to say, that's going to be my favorite number when both teams hit that mark, because we get to see even more Counter-Strike, Tony. Very possible outcome still, especially if UNSW Raw manage to take some rounds back. They're certainly going to try. Forvint will be able to find that opener and trade his teammate Viridian. Still disadvantage as far as teammates go, but they will be able to even things up as WF goes for the aggressive swing. Dirty with the collat, though, will shut the push down, leaving it all on Forvint. He finds one.
Yeah, needs to find 2 more. Dirty goes for the wide swing, though. He's feeling ever so confident. 1 away from the 30 yet again. 15 rounds now on the board. It's match and series point here for Deakins. And as we said, the economy not the greatest for Raw. They can still squeak out a few, but they know that the pressure's on. They need to find 3 to go to overtime here, Twosbies, and they've only got a Galil, an AK, a Scout, a Mac-10, and a Deagle to work with. A bit of util across the board, but Deakins, they've got everything, as we said, more than maxed out for cash here for Cross and Dirty. And it's going to be up to how Raw look to take these early fights here. Dirty going to be damage on the ladder. A little bit of an interesting one.
They have to play so carefully here, though, and they definitely have to just try and get whatever picks they can, make things work. But it's going to be difficult, as you said, especially with that buy, having Viridian on the Scout. Going to make things a bit more difficult. Surquest going to try and play nice and close with the Mac-10. Will be good for that one onto Pacific Donga to open things back up WF. Just also being very clear. Check the rafters. Hasn't spotted Malkin, however, up on the close left. Now throwing the Molotov out his position. Will be given up. Flash 2, but he will be able to spot Malkin. Not winning the fight, however. Deakins taking the advantage. Forvint now left in the 1 versus 3. He's going to be able to get 1. Still 2 more to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, does he know Dirty's behind him? He doesn't. Beautiful, dead, accurate tap there from Dirty. The 30 secured. Deakins, they secure the series. Goes the full 3, but 16-12. Deakins will be walking home with a victory. 2-1 here over the UNSW Raw. And my God, what a series it was, though. UNSW Raw, they have to hold their heads high because that was a massive showing from them.
Absolutely right. UNSW Raw really showing up in quite full force, especially in that second map, in their map pick of Inferno. Absolutely insane series from them, and the way they're able to continue to keep up that momentum and that pressure, just really great stuff. But it's going to be the Deakins in the end to take it out, especially with, look, if I had to pick an MVP, I think it's pretty obvious. It's, of course, going to be Dirty, dropping 30 kills in both of the maps that their team would go on to take. Absolutely nutty stuff. Absolutely huge performance. Dirty definitely having what it takes to win in that matchup. Really incredible game coming out tonight, Tony. But before we wrap things up, we do have our lovely sponsors to thank one more time for helping make all of this possible. This action to you.
And one final time, of course, a thank you is to our presenting partner, Chatime, a fresh iced tea, the freshest in the business. Chatime, the fastest growing in the business in terms of the iced tea franchises in Australia. And of course, with over 120 Chatime tea breweries with commitments to quality ingredients and, of course, innovative flavor, Chatime, of course, have you covered for the very best iced tea. Check it out at your local store today. AOC, the global leader in monitor display technology with over 50 years of experience. That's more than, of course, some of these Counter-Strike players too, and, well, they deliver exceptional viewing experience, and I imagine they'd, of course, deliver 144 hertz monitors, because, of course, maybe Pacific Tonga can hit him up to get one of those, because he was lacking in the hertz department in a few of those maps. But AOC, of course, whether you're at home or you're gaming, or you're in the office, ASC have you covered with their lovely range of stylish monitors. Indomie as well, they're looking to feed the players here for the Uni League. Of course, I might be looking to go get myself a pair after such a long series. I'm definitely feeling a bit hungry. And of course, you can check out the delicious Meagering range at your local supermarket. And as well, RIG, we saw Deakins have what it takes to win. RIG have you covered with what it takes to win. Develop superior audio for anyone, for any competitive gamer or any competitive streamer at that top level. RIG have you covered. Join the RIG team today and enhance your gaming experience.
Yeah, again, very huge shout out to our sponsors, Chatime, AOC, Indomie, RIG, for making this all possible. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing this best of 3 to you, but there's plenty more Counter-Strike action to still come from the AEL League, so make sure that no matter where you're watching, you're following along to the AEL social media accounts. If you're following along on Twitch, you're currently at twitch.tv/AEL Uni 2. There's also the twitch.tv/AEL Uni channel. Either way, make sure you follow both of them, so that you can be sure to know when the AEL is going live, whether it's with Counter-Strike or with many of the other esports titles that are currently happening in the University League. Make sure to follow along on Facebook and YouTube as well, as we're also streaming simultaneously on all of those platforms, so no matter where you like to watch your esports, we've got you covered. Make sure to follow also, on that note, on Twitter at AU Esports League, so you can have all those notifications for when things go around, including signups for next seasons and other events, and plenty more matchups to come, of course. Make sure you're following on all those channels because, well, there's plenty more Counter-Strike to come from the AEL, so make sure not to miss it. You can also check us out, of course, if you've enjoyed the casting tonight. For myself, it's at It's2SBS on Twitter or twitch.tv/2SBS. And for Tony, it's 2TapTony on both of those, I do believe, Tony. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Tony, any final thoughts before we close things out?
Well played to both the teams. Both of them have to hold their head high because that was such a crazy fought series. And as well, props to Deakin. They have what it takes to go to that next level. And we'll, of course, get to see a few of these other teams go toe-to-toe in, as you said, our next few games. But, of course, more than happy to see some more AEL Uni because it is crazy close in this league.
Absolutely. Certainly has been super close. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We'll be back soon with some more action. Make sure to stay tuned. But that is all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good evening.